Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Relax Bro. I have a good friend of mine here. Known him for quite a while. Um, we tried this once before, and we just got to like get reacquainted. So,
Yeah.
um, thought you'd come back, and we'd actually just let you go and tell your story. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Angel Tafolla. I'm 47 years old. I was born in Santa Ana, California. I'm a local tattoo artist. I do metal engraving and painting.
Metal engraving.
Metal engraving.
You want to plug your Instagram?
Yeah. My Instagram's Bakersfield underscore tattoo. And my Facebook's like Angel Tafolla or something or other.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sure they can find you.
Yeah. I'm easy to
I'll
find.
put your name and stuff on here.
Perfect.
Metal engraving. When did you get into that?
A few years ago, there's a dude out of out of Vegas, E3 Engraving, Scott. I don't want to fuck up his last name, but it's like Mario or Maruto or something. But he's a Japanese dude, and he teaches a class for $500.
Really?
Yeah, you pay, and then you show up at his house, and it's all set up in his garage, and he has everything there, And then at the end of the class, you take a test on engraving something, and if you meet his standards, then you get like a little certificate and shit. It's pretty dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
For like rims and stuff, or like
Rims, handlebars, exhaust, door handles.
am I mistaken? Like thinking that you used to mess with bikes there for a minute?
Yeah, I did ride. I mean, I don't have a motorcycle currently, and there's a reason for that. It's not that I'm not riding no more. But I ride.
Yeah.
I'm working on getting another bike eventually. My daughter needed a car more than I needed a bike,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I sold that and bought her a car for college.
Yeah.
So
To college. She is still here. Or she left.
so she's back. She goes to BC now. She was going to another college out of Ridgecrest playing softball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's pretty fucking rad, dude.
Yeah?
Softball. Yeah.
That's good.
Sometimes she didn't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I imagine that becomes another job, just like anything else.
She said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I feel like I'm not having fun no more. So she finished her year up in Ridgecrest, and now she's back at BC, and she's not playing softball no more.
No.
No, she's just working and going to school.
Well, she'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, she wants to be a police officer, so or a corrections officer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Interesting.
It is interesting. It's a scary job to get into. Now.
Yeah. She's tough though.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Santa Ana, California. And a few other places, to be quite honest. I live with my dad's parents in Santa Ana off of 16th and Euclid. And that's on the border of Santa Ana and another city. And then I lived in Anaheim some time with my other grandparents, and then several different parts of Anaheim with my mom and her boyfriend, and then in Tustin too. And then a little bit of Riverside and Yorba Linda and all over. But my roots are always in Santa Ana. Like I tell my son all the time. You're from where you're born. And I'm from Orange County. I could, even though I live in Bakersfield, people say, "Oh, you're from Bakersfield." Like, no, I'm from Orange County. Like I stay true to my roots, and I'm very proud of where I'm from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I live in Kern County now, and I have been for the last 18 years.
You like it here?
To be honest, it's not too bad. The cost of living is way better than where I grew up. My brother just sold a 2-bedroom house, 1 bathroom that my great grandparents owned, and for like $600,000.
Jeez.
And thing's tiny, bro. Tiny. So up here we bought our house, me and my wife, 7 years ago for 189,000, and it's probably twice the size of the house in Orange
Well,
County.
it's probably worth twice as much now as well.
Yeah, it's worth quite a bit more.
Yeah.
So
It's changed around here.
yeah, I could deal without the heat though, but I've
Yeah.
learned to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you become acclimated to it.
Not me. I can't. I'm a sissy, man.
Yeah, well, when I used to ride, man, being in a leather vest and jeans and boots and middle of summer it's 120 degrees and you got a mandatory to go somewhere, you go. And hot or not, you don't think about that. You get home and your arms are all sunburned and wind chapped and
I heard a guy
uh,
riding a street bike. It had to have been like 2, 3 in the morning this morning, which it was raining,
yeah.
and it's just I heard him count like 4 gears, and I'm like, that's too fast. And I'm just thinking like he's got to be soaked. He's got to be having all that wind and rain hit him. It's,
Yeah, a lot of people will flash through the gears. Like as soon as they start going, it's bam, bam, bam,
yeah,
bam. I mean, if you're not really going that
yeah. I
fast,
don't
like
know.
I don't know
It
either.
sounded fast.
If it sounds fast, he's
It's,
moving. Yeah,
it
he's moving.
sounded
Yeah,
fast.
I don't ride in the rain. I don't care what people think. I've done it a few times, and it's for me, it's not the thing.
Yeah,
I ride in 501 jeans, and I've always worn 501 since I was a kid, and when those things get wet, it sucks.
it's cold.
Yeah, cold. So
I can't imagine.
yeah.
So
It's
where'd you move? When did you move out of Santa Ana?
constantly. It was like back and forth.
'Cause I've noticed that you said you lived with your grandparents.
Yeah, I lived with my mom, with my mom's parents for a long time, and well, I mean, it was like back and forth, with my dad's mom and my grandpa Rudy. Um, we flopped back and forth,
Yeah.
But my grandma Mary, man, her household it was pretty dope because it didn't matter. We were all welcome there all the time, any day of the week,
I had a grandma like that. One.
And she would make us menudo on Sundays, and we would all be there, and tamales for Christmas, and it was awesome, man. Those are some of the greatest memories that I have.
I know you have this memory about your grandpa
Yeah, my grandpa Rudy.
about his
We
truck.
spoke about this. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Fontana, driving in. It had to be a 50 to 53 GMC truck. It was like a army green or a dark green, whatever color that was, riding down the highway. And I don't. It wasn't necessarily the freeway. It was just a 2-lane road. And palm trees lined each side, and we were just cruising. He kept telling me to sit down because I would like be on my knees looking out the back window.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of my favorite memories right there. I wish I could go back to that day. It was awesome.
I I picture it in your head like whenever you say it, and I'm like, I just can't help but to think about the truck.
Oh yeah, the gas, right? The gas from behind the seat.
That's. I'm like, man, that's probably why he's telling you to sit down. Is that thing's
Yeah,
just a
he's
rolling
like,
time
dude,
bomb.
relax. You're gonna pass out.
That's my mind.
Yeah, it was great memories though. That man was awesome. He wasn't my dad's dad. He was he married my grandmother, but he did what a lot of men can't and won't do, and that's raise other people's kids. And I know him and my dad had a lot of beef, but that was my grandpa, dude. If I had a problem, I could go talk to him. You know, if I didn't have a problem, I could still go talk to him. We'd laugh, and he'd make fun of me, like, "Oh, mijo, you don't speak Spanish. You're Mexican, and what's the problem?" And neither one of my parents, my mom don't speak Spanish, but my dad's fluent, and they never took the time to teach me. So I blame my dad for one, but my grandpa Rudy was awesome, man. He passed away last October, 2024, and uh, maybe it was late November, early October. I don't know exactly.
You want to say his name?
Yeah, Rudy
His whole name.
Rubalcava. Yeah,
Okay.
I miss that guy, man. He lived in Mexico in Aguascalientes, and he ended up passing away. And when a family member passes away in my family, nobody calls me. Unless it's like a sibling. And I can get to that in a minute, but um, nobody calls. That's fucking weird, dude. And but the person that called me is my cousin Alan. He married my cousin Veronica a long ass time ago, and he sadly had to break the news to me. And I was on the fucking 58 freeway coming home from Apple Valley visiting my brother and a mechanic out there, and that shit fucking broke me up, dude. Like I had to pull over on the freeway, and I was bawling my eyes out, man, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know he was sick, and he passed away. And I came home and I had told my wife, and it still bothers me to this day, man, because I hadn't seen him in a long time or had any kind of like
Contact.
contact with him. Yeah, exactly. And I would ask family members like, "Hey, give me grandpa's number," and like, "Oh yeah, we'll get it to you." And they would get it to me. And I'm not holding that against them. The way I see it's just jealousy, man. Like
Do you remember a point where those things changed? Like I remember you mentioned your grandma. It was just a open house for everybody, the
hmm
cousins, whatever. You just show up and you'd end up
we'd
seeing
eat.
family.
Yeah, we'd eat. Like if I would just show up on a Wednesday, guaranteed there's somebody from the family that doesn't live there
Yeah.
is there
Well,
eating.
somebody's cleaning, somebody's doing
Yeah,
something, And I
grandma's
had a
yelling
grandma
at
like
us.
that as well, and I think that's where, whenever she passed, that's when my family kind of broke apart.
Yeah, my grandma passed in 2001. Yeah, 2001, man, and
Her name, Mary, right?
Mary,
Okay, and the same last name.
same last name,
Okay, I can't say it.
Rubalcaba. Yeah,
Okay,
but her real last name is Ortega. Her maiden name is Ortega.
okay.
And when she passed away, man, like for me, there was no more family functions really, other than like once a year for the family reunions.
It's like the glue fell apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's sad, but it's true. On both sides of the family. When my grandpa died, I really didn't even go around anymore. I still had my grandma at the time, and I regret not visiting her as often as I could. But I'm 47 years old now, man, and I stress to my kids, love your grandparents, dude. Like they might not be the greatest, but you gotta love them. Like, and my
They're usually always there if you
no,
need
not
them.
on my side, man. Not my
No.
family. Yeah, my both my parents have been absent for a really long time, and they stay to remain absent
Yeah.
up until a couple days ago. I hadn't talked to my mom in over a year, and she called me. It was her birthday. And it was a trip, dude. The stuff we were talking about, and her apologizing for some things, and I love my mom. I'll always love my mom, but I don't respect some of the decisions that she's making. And honestly, it's not for me to like or dislike, but I don't want that around my family, especially my children. I grew up watching my dad shoot heroin, and my dad was a junkie for a long time, man. And I don't want my kid to see that, you know, ever. At least not for me. Or as long as I'm alive, like, I'll do everything I can to keep from having my kids to see shit like that. And it's not that I'm putting them in a bubble. I'm just trying to protect them from the shit I had to see. Growing up wasn't too easy, but my grandparents made it a lot easier on us. With seeing my dad shoot heroin for the first time in the bathroom, it was fucking like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know until I was like fucking 19. Like, oh shit, that's what the fuck he was doing.
Was he relevant in your life most of your
No,
childhood? No.
no, I don't really have too many memories with my dad. He he chose not to be around, and um in and out of prison for a really long time, and I would write him letters, and then finally I just quit writing them. Like I would tell my grandpa, my mom's dad, like, "Where's my dad?" And like, "Oh, he's in prison, son." I go, "What's he in prison for?" "Oh, he's in prison for drugs." Like, fuck, dude. Like what are drugs? My grandpa was like, "Well, you have to wait till you get older to understand that." And yeah, eventually I understood what was going on, man. But I don't hold any hard feelings or ill will or anything for him not being around. Um, the beef that we have now, we squashed. He OD'd on fentanyl a couple years ago. At least that's what I was told.
Is
And
he? Is he?
he's still here.
Okay.
And I went to visit him. Me, my wife, and my daughter. We hauled ass to Orange County. He was at some hospital. He was in Fountain Valley or something, or Huntington Beach. I don't remember.
Is that where he lives?
He's in Hemet now.
Okay. But
Yeah,
down that way.
yeah, he's down south. And so we go up there. My older brother showed up for a brief moment, and so me and my daughter go up there, and we're talking to him, and he's just high as a kite. I know the doctors got him on something to help him
Okay.
feel better.
Yeah.
But it just through a bunch of fucking memories of
Yeah.
that shit. And I looked at him and was like,
Just seeing it.
yeah, I was like, damn,
You could
Holmes.
see it in his
And I
eyes.
told him, you fucking loaded or what?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm not loaded. But
Something.
yeah, it's
Something.
all right, Holmes. You
Yeah.
say hi to your granddaughter. And then I told my daughter, you go downstairs with your mom. I don't need her to see that shit, you know. And I told him we had a long conversation, me and my dad, and I apologize for being the asshole of a son, you know, because I was quite the fucking
Yeah.
jerk, you know. But for me, it was I felt like you're gonna respect me, or we're gonna have problems, you know. And we had more problems than anything because I'm sure he was thinking the same thing, you know. But we squashed all that, so I don't hold nothing against him.
So he was. You. It sounds like you've always known him to be on drugs. Was he into
So
like?
he was, yeah. So he was. Excuse me.
You're good.
He was on drugs for a really long time, most of my childhood, up
Well,
until my like late teens, like 18, 19. And
he was in and out.
in and out. You know, when I was 19, I went to visit him in Chino prison.
He wasn't in drug like gang stuff. It was just
Yeah, yeah. No, my dad's he's from somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from a neighborhood. And,
Okay.
yeah, we're all like me, my dad, my brother, my cousin.
Okay. Well, and that's why that was what I was getting at. I was like, so it's probably different in your neighbor, your family growing up because you probably have like a like a harder way of
yeah, a whole different aspect.
exactly.
Of life,
So that's what I was getting at because like as you're saying it, I'm realizing it. Like, oh, maybe it wasn't just drugs. It was probably a little bit more
the streets.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like, but
I didn't mean to slow you
you're
down.
good.
I was just trying to
I'm
understand.
trying to remember where I was at.
You were talking about your dad.
Oh yeah, so my dad, right? Thank you. He met this lady,
Mhm.
and her name's Patricia Broom Tafoya, right? She married my dad. That was the best thing that could have ever happened to him. Like she lived in this back house, and I think it was in Santa Ana. I don't remember exactly. I remember the house, but I don't remember what city it was. And we would go visit him, and you know, she had this like this add-on broom, you know, and with the huge ass bed in there, and you know, my dad was like, "Hey, I want you to meet my lady," you know, and my dad was always one to have ladies, but I never really cared to meet him, you know, and so I went over there and I met her, and she was, you know, they smoke pot, you know, like parents, you know, but they're hippies, I guess, you know, but and she was cool as fuck, dude, you know, and we started calling her mom, you know, because she was there,
Yeah.
you know, and I still talk to her once in a while now, and she was like I said, she was the best thing that ever happened to him. You know, she got him off the streets. She helped get him off of parole. She got him off of the drugs. They ended up buying a condo together, which I could in my life I never even see my dad living anywhere but with my grandma.
Yeah.
You know, because he wasn't doing shit but fucking shit. You know, and in and out of prison. But then they ended up buying a house. You know, and they bought a house when I was in prison. So you know, I got a letter saying, "Hey, Holmes, your fucking dad, you know, he moved out of his condo and he's living in Rialto now." I was like, "What?" This vato didn't tell me shit, Holmes, you know. And but now, you know, he's living in a nursing facility in
wow.
Hemet. You know, he's got diabetes really bad, and
Oh man.
he's not taking care of himself. So
And where you still talk to you just we just
my
went
mom,
over at your mom. And so we jumped ahead a little bit. You said you kept bouncing around. Where did you end up landing whenever you said around 18, 19 is whenever?
so at 17 years old, I was in juvenile hall
Okay.
for a robbery,
Oh wow.
and it didn't bother me at the time, but now I wish I can find that man and apologize to him, you know, because
The guy. So you don't have to say it, but
yeah,
I thought it was maybe like a house robbery. or
no, I
something.
robbed this Asian dude on the street, man, and I feel really bad about it now. You know, I really do. Like, you know, once in a while I'll be telling war stories with my oldest son, and then I bring that up, and I'm like, fuck, dude, like I'm never bragging, you know, like I try to humble myself, man, and if I could find that man, I would
You were
apologize to him.
17.
Yeah, I was 17,
Damn.
but I was on drugs, dude. Fucking
Really?
in the streets with you know with the homies, you know the homeboys and my homegirls, and just doing the dumbest fucking thing because I knew better. but I just enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
loved being in the street, you know. And but yeah, I ended up in fucking Los Pinos juvenile hall camp in Lake Elsinore.
Okay.
Well, it's like Lake Els. It's so the address was Lake Elsinore, but it was Orange County, and like I think it's Riverside County borderline up in the mountains.
A lot of people in those facilities.
Yeah, quite a bit. You know, and it was more like a forest camp. You know, see the forest workers who wear like green dickies and a beige shirt, and that's what we wore in there. It's green dickies and a beige shirt. And then I worked for the what's it called? It's the forestry department, right? The U.S. United States Forestry
Okay, yeah.
or whatever.
Mhm.
And I worked for them while I
Mhm.
was in there.
Really?
And I can't remember the guy's name, the actual Forest Service worker, and he's passed on now, so I can say this because he's not gonna. But he would let us drink,
Really?
bro. He would bring us a 12 pack, and we were fucking 17 years old, bro, driving around in this F-150, cleaning campsites, you know, and he'd be like, "Hey, here's a beer," always, you know, and I crack a beer open, you know what I mean? This I forget who the other homie was, but and then we would be smoking cigarettes, you know, we'd be cleaning the bathrooms on campsites, you know, and smoking. We call them frajos, you know, and smoking a cigarette. And I remember my first day, the homie was like, "Hey, you want a cigarette?" You know, they call me Travieso, you know, like, "Hey, Travi, you want a cigarette?" And I'm like, "Fuck, this fool's right here." Like, he's like, "Hey, can I get a cigarette?" And he's like, "Yeah, here, you guys get a cigarette, you know, smoke your cigarette, and we'll just make sure you clean up before the end of the day, you know."
Wow.
Yeah, so bro, we shouldn't have been drinking and smoking while we were locked up, you know. But
Especially at 17.
yeah, 17, yeah,
It's been different.
yeah,
It's
but it was
different.
good times, man. You know, I learned a lot of things in there, and you know, I carry all that with me. You know,
How long were you in there?
just a year.
It's still a long time.
Yeah, just a year,
Just
man.
a year.
But as a kid, you know, like
Gosh.
you hear a
damn.
year and you're like, "Fuck, my life is over. What the fuck am I doing?" And, you know, and I thought about it for a while, and it sat with me for a minute. But
Back then, did you feel scared?
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I got locked up, I was scared.
Mhm.
You know, you never know what to fucking think, man. You know, and uh, I was like, "Damn, like here I go." You know, when I caught that robbery case, the cops had pulled up behind us. We were at a mall. I was living at a motel with some friends, and I had just gotten one of the ladies there to give me a ride to my cousin's house. So I get in the back seat of her car and I told her, "Hurry the fuck up. We got to leave now." You know, like we don't have much time. And she fucking, I was pissed then, but that fucking bitch, dude, took forever to start her car. By the time she started her car and went to put it in reverse, we weren't going anywhere. But yeah, I was scared, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You know, any man that says he wasn't scared when he got locked up is lying. You know, there's some sort of scaredness or fear or whatever you want to call it. You know, it's the unknown. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
yeah.
And
Because I mean, you could be tough. You could be the toughest dude on the block, but deep down inside, how do you really feel?
yeah.
You know?
Did it change once you got in there? Was it a better place for you or worse?
It's probably better. It's probably what kept me from dying. To be honest, like I say this to my kids, and I know I've said it to my wife a few times, and she just says, "Oh, you're crazy." I didn't think I was gonna make it to 18, bro.
I have had the same thoughts.
You know, like I was in the streets. I wasn't like, oh, like yeah, that's the homie. You know, like
I tell my brother this. I always was confused when I turned 18 because I didn't know what else to do because I didn't know either.
yeah. Well, when I got out of juvenile hall, I was 18. I had already turned 18, and I got a job. But one of the homies I was in the fire camp with got me a job working with him. So it's not like I got a job and then I was just being a fucking productive citizen. It's like I got a job and then me and the homie are fucking gang banging on these dudes that are buying fucking sandwiches at the eatery at Kmart, you know?
Damn.
And I did that every time I see someone that I thought looked like okay, they're affiliated. I would hit them up. Hey, where are you from? You know, I'm so and so from somewhere, you know. And uh, the one guy though, there was a couple guys that I hit up that were with the business, but were our neighborhoods got along, you know. But there's one guy in particular that stands out. And his name's Manny Becerra. He's from Delhi, Santa Ana, And
Should I bleep that name?
no, he's cool. I still
Okay.
talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. He's cool. I mean, not like all the time, but um,
Just
and
following.
he's got his neighborhood tattooed on his hand. And I seen it, and I said, "Hey, homie, where you from?" And he told me he was an older dude. I was fucking 18. And trying to make a name for myself, which really wasn't even necessary. Now that I'm older, I know that, but. And I told him, "Oh, I'm so and so, and this is where I'm from, Holmes." And he was like, "Oh yeah, 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 I know so and so, and I know Carl and Titi and Joe and Joe's mom Mary and their dad Rudy." And I was like, "What the fuck?" But Joe, you know Joe? He's like, "Yeah, that's my dad, Holmes." That dude knew my entire family.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And when my Theo Titi um passed away, he went to the funeral. I called him and said, "Hey, Holmes, this was happening," and I gave him the information. He showed up, and it was crazy
Yeah.
because you never know who you're talking to anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
100%.
even then, as a young dumbass kid, man, like I was just trying to be the guy. I wanted to be the toughest dude, the baddest motherfucker around, but nobody's the baddest because there's always somebody badder than the baddest. You could be the baddest guy on the block, but there's always somebody tougher than you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The same thing with me. I could be the toughest guy on my fucking keyboard.
Yeah, well, that's
You
what
know
I
what I'm saying?
I'm getting at. It. Oh, I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, it's always just your block, though. It's never. I mean, you're not the who
Nobody's the
you
toughest.
comparing yourself to. Like, it's only just
Exactly.
the people that are immediately around
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
And I think that if you did compare yourself to other the stuff that I don't know, maybe the stuff you look forward to or you admire, you probably want to be.
That's what I wanted to be.
Well,
So, growing up, I always looked up to one of my cousins, and I'm not going to say his name because he's no longer relevant, period. So, but I looked up to him, and he's who I wanted to be. He was the toughest vato around, and I was like, I want to be just like him. I want to be that guy. I want to be him. And sometimes I feel like I was, and sometimes I feel like maybe I was just trying too hard. Maybe I should have just been myself instead of being what I wanted to be. Because I was a skater. I skated fucking skateboards. I remember the first time I got on one. My grandpa Ernie, who was my mom's dad. Um, the neighbor kid had a little blue and yellow skateboard. The skateboard was blue and the wheels were yellow, like the old penny boards.
yeah, they're plastic.
Yeah, and I was walking with it. Didn't even know how to hold it. I was walking all fucking weird. I was probably like, I was still in kindergarten, man, and so I had to be like 4. And I go, "Hey, Grandpa, look, I'm gonna ride a skateboard," and he was like, "Don't get on that thing. You're gonna hurt yourself." And so I know what I'm doing, Grandpa. I know what I'm doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I stepped on that fucking thing, came right out from underneath me, bro, and I smacked the back of my head. Went crying. My grandpa got the skateboard, threw it over the fence to the neighbors, and told me, "Don't ever ride one of those again." And I was crying, bro, bawling like a little fucking, like I should have been at 4 years old,
Yeah,
And it wasn't until like we had moved to a different part of Santa Ana with my mom's boyfriend, and I had a skateboard. It was just some cheap skateboard from the swap meet that my mom's boyfriend bought me, and
yeah,
it wasn't worth shit, but it meant everything to me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was determined to become that skater. So it was like what, like 2 or 3 houses down, one, two, three, two, between three, two, three, 4 houses down, whatever. There was this kid named Alex, and I'd be up and down the alley on my skateboard, and him and his brother, his older brother, I don't remember his name, but they would be right there doing tricks, and ollies, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah,
I can't even
just
do
trying to
that
figure it
yet.
out,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I would stop and stare, and eventually we became friends, man, and they invited me onto their little driveway, and I went up there and I started skating with them, and he taught me how to ollie, and it was like 1 inch little thing I had to go up and land on,
Yeah.
and to me that was like the greatest
It's a
accomplishment, bro.
good feeling.
Like I landed it. Like I ate shit forever, but when I finally landed, it was like, damn, I landed that. And his older brother was like, hey, give him some good bearings. Like skateboard was slow, bro.
Yeah.
I'd press once and the
Uh-huh.
wheels would go
The
once.
wheels are super soft.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
And So they hooked me up with some bearings, and then they put wheels on there, and eventually they put trucks on there, and then eventually they just gave me
A good board.
well, they took all the good shit off of my shitty board and gave me a used deck, but now I had a board.
Did you sleep with it?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I did, bro. Like that was me. That was my life,
Yeah, I think we all did.
I think so. And
something about mechanical sports, like bikes and skateboards.
It's fun.
There's just something about them.
It's fun. I never been a fan of riding like BMX,
Uh-huh.
but skateboarding and I've always liked dirt biking, but I've never rode dirt bikes too much. My mom's boyfriend would take us to go watch
Didn't you get
Supercross.
into quads or something there for a second?
I have a sand rail.
Okay.
I did have a couple dirt bikes for a long time, but
Okay.
my mom's boyfriend would take us to watch Supercross, and I'm like, damn, that shit's fucking sick. But we were so poor, bro. All we could do was afford to watch it, And one time he took me to go buy a quad, and my mom went off on him, but whatever. But and we used to go watch Ivan the Iron Man Stewart, little trophy truck shit.
Short course
Legit,
racing,
bro.
Yeah.
Legit, like
Remember the video game?
off road.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna see that. Right, I used to walk to the 7-Eleven and play that shit.
Dude.
Like 25 cents, and you get like 4 games out of it.
Yeah, there's a
know?
lamppost pizza there. They pay you to like fold boxes, and then they just give you a cup full of quarters. And I'd just be sitting there friggin'.
I wish 7-Eleven would did some shit for us because we were in there. It's got like 3, right? I think there's 3 steering wheels there and a little gas pedal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was legit, man. And the whole off-roading thing for me, that's that's where it really started. Like I love off-roading, mudding. I don't really do the snow too much because I don't like driving on ice, but dirt biking, sand rails, and shit like that. Even quads, man. Like my mom's boyfriend took us off-roading a lot. He had this little '84 fucking Chevy Blazer, the little small ones,
Okay.
4x4, bro.
Uh-huh.
And we'd be packed in that fucking thing, and he'd be riding around in the mud,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
it's fun.
And then my grandpa, he bought a sand rail, and that thing was fucking badass. I still have a trophy from 1985 where he won a uphill race.
Out of Pismo or something.
No, in Yucca Valley.
Okay.
So there used to be this a sand dune, and it was called Mushroom Hill. Straight up, at least it felt straight up. It's probably like, fuck.
That's gonna be your thumbnail.
Yeah. Oh shit. I almost said it. My son will love that too. Yeah. Oh shit, that's good shit. Oh, that's good. My son's gonna fucking get a kick off of that. I already know. The shit me and my son be doing, bro, is fucking out of control. But yeah, so we I got into off roading, and now, I had gotten away from it for years, and me and my wife used to drive up to Big Bear, and we would take all the trails and shit up there in our little Jeep that we had. And then my brother got into dirt bikes again for his kids. And like, if one of us, like between me and my little brother, if one of us is like, oh, I'm gonna buy some off road shit, and then the other one would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that shit. We're gonna do this together, because
How old's your little brother
fuck.
compared to you? Like how many years?
He's 6 years younger than me, so he's
Okay.
41.
That's about exactly what.
Yeah, he's 41. So
my brother's 5 years younger than me.
Oh, okay. And so he got dirt bikes for his kids, and,
Yeah.
and then I kept telling him like, oh, I'm gonna buy a sand rail.
You
bro.
have to.
Yeah.
If he does it and they can do it, you have to.
We might as well do it
Yeah,
together,
yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
And I told him I'm gonna buy a sand rail, bro. And he was like, whatever. Like, we'll see whenever you go. I told him, no, I'm fucking serious. And so my daughter was like, I want to ride the dirt bike. So we put her on my nephew's dirt bike, and fucking natural, dude.
Yeah.
Never been on a motorcycle. I mean, she's ridden on the back of mine, but never rode a dirt bike by herself, and I was tripping the fuck out. Like, oh, this is dangerous, like. So she rode that thing like she already knew what she was doing. So we ended up buying a sand rail, and we went and bought her a dirt bike, and we're still off roading.
Did you buy it brand new or you?
No, I bought her. It's a SSR. It's a Chinese dirt bike.
Oh, those are decent.
Yeah, I mean,
Perfect for her.
to learn on
To
too.
learn on, yeah.
Like for her to get super comfortable.
As long as you can keep the exhaust on it, everything will work.
Everything's legit, bro. Yeah, some white dude put it together in fucking San Bernardino. But yeah, she rode that, and we've been off roading ever since, man. And I bought a toy hauler. Well, me and
You
my
you
wife.
you talk about your Sanrail, but I mean, people who watch the show clearly know who I am
Yeah,
about the off-road thing. So why don't you talk about that thing? Because I think it's special.
my Sanrail.
Yeah, it's got an
Okay,
RX-7 motor in it.
it has the Mazda 13B turbo,
Yeah.
and I don't know a lot of the specifics because I bought my Sanrail with it, but it's a 4-seater. It's purple, gray, and purple seats, and I have a.
And I think I asked you though. You said that you had to tinker with it to get it to run right,
I'm still tinkering with it,
and those are notorious for
getting hot. Yeah,
just keeping them running. In
yeah.
general.
So I had to have a transmission built for it because some fucking Nimrod decided when he was doing electrical work for me to take it for a test drive, which is right down the street from here. And I found out later that he revved the motor up to like 10,000 RPMs and then just slammed the fucking motherfucker in. She's cool, bro. It's cool. Slammed it in a gear and broke my ring and pinion, first gear, second
just
gear.
blew up again.
And then I don't know how he fucked up reverse. Like reverse was cracked too, and
Probably trying to get it back to the shop.
well, it was at his house.
Oh,
So, and this was the day before I was leaving the Glamis.
oh my god!
And this was in 2020. We're in 2, so like 2023.
How do you not lose your mind?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm picking up. I had to borrow a trailer from a friend of mine named Nick, and because my toy hauler was getting a new door put on, so we're just gonna take the car trailer and tent it or whatever. And I'm picking up the trailer, and he calls me. He's like, "Hey, dude, something's wrong with your Sanro." I told him, "What do you mean something's wrong with my Sanro? I know I need a new CV boot, but I got it at the house already. Like, I'll fucking bring it to you, And he's like, "No, I think your transmission's fucked." And I was like, "Fuck you mean, Halls?" And he's like, "Yeah, just come listen to it." I told him I'm on my fucking way, dude. And my wife was like, "Take me home. Take me home." Because my wife does it. She's not with that, And so I took her home and I fucking pulled up in front of his house, bent that corner, bro. Trailer sliding, brakes are slammed in front of his house. And I'm banging on the door, and his girlfriend, at the time, his girlfriend answered the door, and she's like, "Hey, I'm her tattoo artist, And she's like, "Hey, Angel, hey, where the fuck is your old man at?" And she's like, "Can you just calm down? Like, there's kids here. Like, I know you're mad, but just relax." So I was like, "Yeah, tell that motherfucker to bring my shit out." And he's backing it out, and you can hear the ringing pinion, click, click. And I was like, "This motherfucker." I told him, "You're gonna pay for the transmission, bro." I told him, "But I'm gonna leave before I hurt you." So I went home, and I have another mechanic friend of mine that I went and I just had him look at it real quick, and he's like, "Yeah, your ringing pinion's frayed." So I started calling around, trying to find something I could like fix right away, and it was $10,000, bro,
What?
to build it for off road.
Gosh,
There's a
dang.
guy out of Visalia that was like, "Dude, I'll fucking rebuild your whole tranny for fucking $1,200." And then there's a guy in Union like, "Oh, it's just a Volkswagen bus transmission. I can rebuild that thing for like $600." But I was like, "There's no way, like there's no way." So I ended up getting plugged in with this dude, Rabbitback Performance at Apple Valley, and he said, "Take off the transmission and bring it to me, and then I'll call you whenever we figure it out." I was like, "Fuck, I guess, dude." Like I was so pissed, and I had a friend of mine come help me get the transmission off, and we had to pull the motor, pull the tranny, drove to Apple Valley, dropped off the transmission. Dude calls me like 3 weeks later, and he's like, "Hey, dude, it's gonna be $6,000 to repair your tranny. First gear, second gear, third gear is gone, reverse is gone. You get rebuild the whole fucking thing." And I was like, "Damn, but what does that consist of? 457 ring and pinion, all Weddle gears, So I made the dude come to my shop. I called him. I didn't make him come, but I asked him to come. And I gave him a couple options, man. And I don't like to be burned. If you break something, especially something that you shouldn't have been doing, and you
Yeah.
broke it, just fix it, man.
Yeah.
It's that easy. So I just told him, "You're going to pay for this. So what are we going to do?" And he paid for it, and I appreciate him for paying for it, man. But
Did he ever admit to what he did?
no,
No. How'd you find out?
his ex.
Oh God.
she was
You're still
getting.
tattooing her.
I'm still tattooing her.
Okay.
Yeah, she came in and was getting tattooed, and I was like, "So what really happened?" She was like, "Yeah, you fucking."
She told you?
She like
Oh,
he
dude.
let it have it,
Oh,
and he had told me, he was like, "Dude, your fucking sound rips, man," and I was like,
yeah.
"Please don't drive my shit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have permission to drive it, you know." Like, I put it in his garage, fixed my wiring, you know, adding some new switches for like LED whips and shit, you know,
Mhm.
and um, but yeah, so I just recently pulled the motor and put a new clutch on there and slapped the motor in. Now I'm working on figuring out how to adjust everything, you know, because I had to put, I don't know what the fuck this thing's called. It's the shifter, then the shift rod, and then it connects to the transmission.
Linkage.
Okay, so the shift linkage, right, connects to this little fucking thing,
Mhm.
like a little dick on the fucking transmission that comes
Yep.
out, right?
Mhm.
And I can't figure out for the life of me how to adjust it, man. Like, I'm pretty good with a lot of things.
I might be able to help you with that.
I appreciate that. Even the slave cylinder for the transmission.
Well, that might be a lot of it. That's got to be bled. Just
So
like
I bled it, but I tightened it down
Mhm.
because I wasn't getting it. Originally, I wasn't getting any pressure in the clutch, and I bled it. I got pressure, but then I tightened down the fucking slave cylinder. So, I mean, if you could help, bro, I appreciate that. Come to
Yeah.
help.
I'll
Yeah, I'm
try.
sure we have to back off of that fucking slave cylinder and let the clutch rest right up against the fucking the throw bearing. You know?
I'm gonna have to see to know. I'm like comparing it to a Ranger. I know that whenever you do a Ranger, like you can bleed a Ranger clutch or the slave cylinder like 3 times, and there'll be one bubble in there. You'll be driving that thing, and it'll completely not work.
Oh shit.
And so it will get, the air will get trapped in there. So it's almost worth doing it way more than you need to. Just
Do
pour
extra.
just way more, but just to get it out, because
Yeah.
if you do, you're gonna end up having to redo it every
Well, that's what it
time.
did. You know, it was a one man job for me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It
like
always.
daughter's at work.
I had a trick to how to do that too.
Well, I used a ratchet strap. So I pressed down on the clutch.
Yeah.
I fucking ratchet strap that clutch to hold it down. And then I go crack the fucking
Well, now that
sleeve
you're
cylinder.
telling me this, I'm go ahead and guess that it's probably gonna start there. We're probably gonna just have
Yeah.
to get that thing. Just push him off of you, bro. I'm sorry.
All right. Come on, Kiki.
Let's take a break. I'm about to piss my pants. All right, we were talking about your sound rail, but I kind of think we kind of skipped ahead because we went right back to whenever you were we went back to the juvenile hall thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of just skipped forward to the off-road thing. But I'm kind of curious what happened after juvenile hall. Where'd you go?
So I moved in with my mom and one of her newest boyfriends. And he happened to be an ex motor cop, or whatever they call it for Orange PD.
Like me, myself, and Irene.
I don't really remember that movie too much, honestly.
Like Chips.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just
Just
I got a fun fact about
just as-
Chips, real quick.
Just as gay.
When he's living downstairs in the mansion
Okay.
and they have that pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been in that pool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. We this group I used to hang out
I
with.
don't know if you want to be in that pool. I don't know if that's something you want out on the internet.
Not anymore. Especially after that night. Yeah, it was so we rented out the mansion.
Rented it.
Yeah, you can rent that. So that mansion's for rent. I think it's like called a Ford Mansion or something or other. Like in Hacienda Heights or something.
Okay.
And we rented it out. And it was these group of dudes that I rode with, and we threw a anniversary party there. And it was legit. It was one for the books for sure. And yeah, man, you know, during the daytime we got to take our wives and our kids and our family there to hang out and get to experience it as well. And we all got in the pool, and I had my daughter in the pool. But once the kids went, you know, my brother took his son to my mom, so my mom could watch the kids, so we could party.
Okay.
So I told him, take my daughter with you. Mom can watch her too. And we partied. You know, I don't drink or nothing, but I still like to have fun. You know, I'll walk into a bar even now and order a Shirley Temple and just
Have you always been sober?
No,
No.
I used to like to drink tequila, and for the longest time it was like tequila and like Cuervo 1800, all that shit, and then I started getting to like other stuff. But I started drinking Jack Daniels, Jack and Coke, and when I met my wife, that's what was my drink of choice. And we used to go out a lot to go clubbing, but it was all Spanish music. And one day I took her to this bar in Fullerton. It was like just a regular, like, wasn't Spanish. It was just like American music, you know. And she ordered a drink called the Cosmo. And I was told her, "What the fuck are you drinking?" You know. And I'm drinking Jack and Coke, and I'm just sipping on it. And she said, "Let me try your drink." And I was like, "All right, well, let me try yours." And I handed her my drink, and she gave me hers.
You were
And
walking around with that thing?
oh, bro, she was like, "What the fuck? This shit's good, right?" My fucking Jack and
And you're
Coke.
probably the same way.
And I was like, "What the fuck? This fucking vodka and cranberry juice?" I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like looking around, like, are the homies watching? You know, like, what the fuck? And I told her, "Damn, this shit's good. Like, I can get drunk and not have to
Just
have that.
pour it in a beer bottle.
Yeah, have that harsh ass fucking
Yeah.
feeling of
Yeah.
fucking."
Well, that probably made it a lot easier to drink then.
Oh yeah, I told her you can get drunk and not have to like be like, "Oh, like, you know, my man," you know, like cool, you know, having a fucking drink, you know. So
Give me my daiquiri. And
yeah.
I'll do my thing.
So we go to Vegas. And what's my fucking drink of choice, bro? I'll have one when we go to Vegas. It's a fucking strawberry daiquiri, bro. Like we'll be at the machines, and she's like, "Baby, you gotta get your strawberry daiquiri." And I'm like,
That's
oh.
a good girl.
My girl is
That's a
fucking
good girl.
amazing, bro. I gave it to her, Maria. She's amazing.
That's a good girl.
And
she'll hang out with you no matter how.
yeah, no matter how whatever I'm feeling, you know. And she'll be like, "Babe, hey, get your strawberry daiquiri." And I like, I'll just look around like, and she'll be like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm looking for the fucking
What's
lady,
it?
you know." And I'm looking,
I don't want nobody taking
make
pictures.
sure nobody's watching me. You know, what the fuck? And then I'll like, "Can I get a strawberry daiquiri?" And sometimes my wife will get a beer. And I saw, "Can I get a strawberry daiquiri?"
She holds the beer.
So that lady hands me the beer and gives my girl the fucking strawberry daiquiri. And then I'm like, "Here you go." And she hands me my drink. And the lady, like most of the time, lady, like, "What the fuck?"
It would
You
be
know?
funny if you guys just like carried each other's and then just swapped whatever.
Oh, whenever we got a drink, that's a fucking plan, you know. But if I do drink, like,
That's funny.
I just have the one, man. Like I don't like to drink. I like
Yeah.
to stay ready. For anything, you know. If my kids call, and I know we talked about this last time, but if my kids call and like, "Hey, Dad, like there's an emergency, I need you." Okay, no questions asked. I'm on my way.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready. I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know, and if I'm plastered or high or anything like that, and they call, how am I gonna get to my kids, man?
I think that maybe we should emphasize that because I
Mhm.
think that a lot of parents, or I mean, I'm not a parent. I don't know. Um, but I mean, I think sometimes that way too. I mean, like if anybody called, like if my mom needs something, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to drive across all the way to the beach. But yeah, I think we should emphasize like that the preparedness that you need. Otherwise, you end up with a DUI or end up
Yeah,
killing somebody
you
or
know, or
yourself.
dying yourself. You know,
Yeah.
like, okay, and my son called and I just fucking polished off a fucking bottle. You know, I want to make sure that I can get to wherever I need to get to at any time of the day or any time of the night. You know,
Do you think that you feel that way so like heavily is because of the fact that you have you been in situations before where you feel like that's so important like
yeah. So like growing up, there was a couple times that I needed my dad. You know, and I like, "Hey, Holmes, hey, can you come? I need you to come over here real quick. You know, because I'm gonna do something fucking stupid to these fools over here." And my dad, "Hey, me on, I'm fucking drunk, I can't show up or whatever, you know." And now I'm like, well, you know, my dad wasn't hardly ever around, and if I needed him, it didn't matter to him, you know. At least that's how I felt. So now with my kids, I want to make sure I'm present for everything. You
so
know,
that they feel
they know Dad's here.
yeah
My kids know. You could call Dad. I'm coming. You know, my son called me a couple weeks ago, and um, it was late, and I missed it. And then he texted me, and I seen the text, and he thought somebody was outside of his house. and he's got my granddaughter there with him, and he's like, "Can you come to the house? I think somebody's outside." Yeah, I fucking jumped up, bro. Started getting ready. Fucking was halfway to his house in fucking like 5 minutes, bro. I'm hauling ass, and then he calls me and he's like, "Never mind. Like I'm good. Like I went outside and you know he's got his ways of keeping his household protected, and I'm all for it, And um, I told him I can still come. So I'm fucking ready to rock and roll, like, And he's like, "No, no, go home. Don't worry about it." Then I get home, and I was like, "That was fast." I was like, "Yeah, Mijo called me, and yeah, everything's good." And that's just me though, man. Like before I came here, my daughter texted me, my wife, and "Can you guys bring me lunch?" And then my wife's like, "I need you to go to the store and get me this," and I'm like, "Fuck, like I don't mind." I know a lot of times I seem frustrated when people ask me to do certain things and I'm already crunching to get ready to go do something, like to come here and do this interview with you, and I apologize. I might come off wrong, but I went and did it, and my wife made her lunch real quick, and I hauled ass to fucking Niles and Fairfax and dropped off her lunch, and
It worked out.
perfect, bro.
Somebody needed to be talked to before you, so it worked out.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
God has His way of doing
Yeah.
things for a reason, bro. And and even my sister in law called me, and she needed a ride. Her, my mother in law, our niece, and one of the nephews. And she was like, "Hey," and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Good morning." I was like, "Good morning." When I first wake up, bro, I like to just wake up. I know I'm awake and walking around, and I like to make breakfast, and I like to cook and make dinner and shit. And so I get up and I'll go get my coffee in. But yeah, so I want to be ready. You know, I don't ever want to be that guy that my sons or my daughters like, "Oh, I called dad and he didn't come because he was drunk." You know,
Okay. Slow you down again. You're just gonna keep doing it to this
yeah.
point. Um, and I don't, no disrespect. I let you do your thing. I
No,
love
we're
it.
good, bro. We're good.
But I'm curious because I think this is all going to tie in together. I'm working in my head, trying to tie it all together because there's some major subjects coming up, and I want to dig through them lightly to get to where I want to go, which
Okay.
is um, your self-proclaimed post-Satanist, and now you are a confessed Christian Catholic.
I don't. So I don't proclaim a religion. I just when people ask, "Hey, are you Christian, you Catholic, fucking Buddhist, whatever?" Just a man of faith, And I got faith, and I did dabble with Satanism.
So what I'm trying to get at is we're about 1920. You're out of um, juvenile hall, I guess.
1997. Nope, I'm lying. 1996.
And so when did all your I mean not I don't know if you were affiliated with anything or what, but I'm trying to understand like when did the Satanism stuff start, and how long did it carry through, and what 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 changed,
So I was in
if
prison.
you're
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm fine with that. I was in prison, in Chino prison at the time on the East Shore. And
Can you say why or no?
so I did a home invasion in 2001 on a drug dealer. He was selling drugs to kids, and I kind of took that shit personal because I have kids, and went and put him out of business. And my older brother was my crime partner. We've already been in prison and done our time, so I can talk about it. But um, fucking dude called the cops on me, man. And we're driving away in reverse because I'm street smart, I'm pretty book smart too, but I took my front license plate off. I had already had it planned out, and um, drove off in reverse. And we took a safe, a couple T-shirts, to wrap the safe in, and some sunglasses. And there's these guys that I know. That's all I'm gonna. I know these guys, and I took the safe to them, and I said, "Hey, man, I need this open. Everybody in the house gets $100." I didn't know how it could have been fucking $500 enough to pay everybody, you know. And he was like, "Fuck, I don't know, dude. I don't. Is this gonna come?" I was like, "Hey, Holmes, you know where we're from.
I know how to do it.
You know, I told him you've known us, you've known my family, you know, forever. So just get it open." So the dude fucking grabs a grinder, you know, and calls his dad outside. "Hey, pops, come outside and watch this." You know, and then calls. I think it was his brother. Tells his brother, "Hey, come outside and watch this." And his kids are running around. His kids are all adults and they built sandrails and shit
Yeah.
now. And fucking dude's grinding away. And I was like, "Hey, bro, be careful. Like, there's money in there." And he's like, "I got this. Don't fucking trip, dude." Big old white boy, you know.
Yeah.
And he got it open.
Anything in there?
There's some mushrooms in there, some weed in there, several $1,000s.
Worth it? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So got the money and I handed everybody $100. And then the guy was like, "Well, what about so and so in the fucking kitchen?" You know, like, "Well, okay, here's $100." You know, and we went down the street, divvied up the money, stashed the dope, and my little brother calls me, man. He's like, "Hey, bro, I need that beach cruiser." So I had just jacked a beach cruiser for fucking Newport Beach, right? Nice ass beach cruiser. And I told him like, "Hey, dude, uh, I can't come around for a while. Like, it's gonna be hot, you know." And
Who are you talking to again?
to my little brother.
Okay.
And he's like, "Please, bro, bring me the beach cruiser." And I'm like, "Fuck, dude."
Oh, because you were gonna give it to him.
Well, it was in the
Was-
bed of my truck.
Was that like the whole intention? You were.
No, so
I didn't mean.
yeah, no, you're good. So I would keep a beach cruiser in the back of my truck because I would have to park my truck somewhere else from where I lived.
Oh.
Because I lived, the guys that I lived, the area I lived in at the time, they didn't like me.
Gotcha.
So I would leave my truck somewhere because they had already broke the windshield out of my car. And anyways, and I was like, "Fuck it. All right, Holmes, I'm gonna go drop the truck off at so and so's house, and then I'll ride the beach cruiser over to you. You know where you're gonna be at?" And he told me on the other side of the railroad tracks, because we lived on one street, and then in between the street and the street he was on was a set of railroad tracks. And
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, I'll be over there right now." So I dropped my older brother off and dropped my truck off and riding my bike, go see my grandpa. "Hey, grandpa, I got something for you. I'll be right back," you know? And he's like, "All right, son. Like, don't be too long, you know?" And I was going to give him some money. So I ride the beach cruise over there. My mom pulls up like, "Hey, mom, I need a ride," you know? Like, "Fuck you, motherfucker," drives off. So I told my brother, "Hey, Holmes, like, all right, I'm going to go back to the pad." And I'm walking over the fucking railroad tracks and a green fucking Camaro, like a 90s Camaro, driving along beside me real slow. And I live in a, you know, that it wasn't, I mean, I didn't think it was a bad area. Just the fucking dudes there just didn't like where I was from, you know? And so this car slams on their brakes at the corner, like they swoop on the corner and they hop out and it's two dudes and they start reaching. So I pulled my knife out and I was gonna stab them, you know, and they're like, "Anaheim PD, motherfucker." And I was like, "Oh shit." So yeah, I got busted for that. But my older brother had a lawyer and pro bonoed my case and got me 2 years from 23 years.
Whoa. You want to shout his name out?
The lawyer?
Yeah.
I wish I fucking knew. I don't remember his name, but I remember my brother had a lawyer and they were fucking me, dude. Literally, like they offered my brother 16 months. They offered me 9 years, right? And I was like, "Fuck that, fucking 9 years, fuck you, Holmes." And then it was second strike, so it's times two, so it turns into 18,
Yeah.
and then 5 years for being a known gang member.
How old were you?
This was in 2001, so I was 23.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so they ended up offering me 23 years. And you know, I always tell my kids this, you know, when we start talking and they start asking questions, and I'm
It's your
telling
whole life. You're not. You don't have a life.
I'm only
after
23.
that.
Yeah, so I would have probably, like, if I would have had to do the straight 23 years,
You would have just got out.
I would have just got out last year,
Insane.
or maybe the year before, 2024. So it was still fresh. You know what I mean?
And it was
My brother's lawyer pro bono my case.
I mean, I'm just saying over some. I mean, Could you look at that camera and at all say that any of that was worth it? No, I mean, I
The
wasn't
only
asking
thing,
you to. I'm
so
just
no,
curious.
I know. I'm
Like,
thinking like,
was it
not that it's worth it, because what I regret the most from that whole fucking situation is not realizing that my kids need me. I'm so bent on being in the streets and
Did you
doing.
have kids at
I
this
had my
time?
2 sons at the time,
Wow.
and 6 and 1. I want to say
Really?
97, 98,
So
and
one
9
of them
2000. So
definitely remembers something.
one's about to be 4, and the other one's gonna be 1.
You guys ever talked about those?
I talked to my oldest son. We get to talk more because he lives here. My other son lives in Lake Elsinore, but my biggest regret, man, of that whole thing was going to prison and having my kids miss out on their dad. Like they didn't deserve that. And
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm doing the same fucking shit my dad was doing. Here I am. And I, there's a few times I was in prison where I'd get pictures of my kids, man, and I'd be crying. Not like bawling, but like I'm just sitting there like reflecting.
Yeah.
Like you should have been a better man. So I only had a couple years to do, so I got out, and first thing I did was spend time with my kids.
You think you're a better man? Do you think you would have been the same man you are if you didn't go through those situations?
No,
I guess that's a
no, I
two-part
don't.
question.
No,
Like,
I don't. Like I think everything that I've done in my life has created the man that I wanted to be, and then my kids did change me a lot to an extent. But I enjoyed being in the streets, and when I met my wife, everything really changed.
her name is
Maria.
Taffolla.
Mm-hmm.
I won't sing her name on this one.
When I met my wife, everything changed. Um, she would bring me around her family. I mean, I would be around her family. Like when I first met her parents, I had to wear a long sleeve shirt because of the tattoos. I didn't have my hands tattooed or my head or my neck done yet.
Is she full Mexican?
She's Mexican, yes.
So her parents are like
Her parents
hardcore.
yeah, they're from Mexico.
Okay.
And I would get pissed. Like I ain't wearing a fucking long sleeve, but it wasn't about hiding the tattoos necessarily. It was more about showing some respect to her parents. So I did. It, bro. It'd be 115 outside. They lived in Riverside at the time, and I'd be sweating balls in a long sleeve.
A Pendleton or something, probably. It wasn't just a
No,
long
usually like a
sleeve.
button-up shirt or something, or my work jacket or something, and because even then I don't want them to get the impression like, oh, fucking cholo, because some irrelevant ass piece of shit told her parents, oh, he's a fucking gang member, cholo, fucking loser. But I was working 16-hour shift, bro, as a plumber, and when I met her parents,
Did you consider yourself a cholo back then, while you were trying to hide it from her parents?
I've always considered myself a cholo.
That's what I was
Yeah.
kind of getting.
But
at.
now I'm just like,
I mean, it's just part. It's like a style.
it's just
right?
life, bro.
Yeah, it's just
like for me now, I'm what they call a veterano, right? Like I'm a veteran. But I don't call myself anything.
Would you? Is it similar to like a punk or like
Yeah,
a hardcore?
like punk rocker.
It's just like
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, okay. It's just like a okay. So
but
like,
you can't be a cholo and not have
but
not been from somewhere.
you weren't. I mean, I guess probably you were in some shit, but you didn't want.
I didn't want my in-laws to see that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I respected what she was my girlfriend at the time, and she's my wife now. But
yeah,
I respected that to an extent. Even though it bothered me, like I would tell her like, dude, it's fucking hot as shit outside. You want me to fucking wear a long sleeve, And then finally one day, well, let me get back to meeting her parents.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't big on hugging people or anything. And her mom's a hugger.
Probably kiss her too, huh?
On the cheek.
Kiss her.
Yeah. So I shook her hand, and her mom like looked at me like, this motherfucker, like you're not gonna give me a hug, And I didn't think nothing of it at the time. My wife told me later, like, hey, my mom wants you to give her a hug, like. That's what we do around here.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I felt bad, like, and then my father-in-law, God rest his soul, cool ass dude, bro. Jose Antonio Salcedo. He My wife's like, oh, I'm just waiting for my dad to come out of the room. He comes out of his room with his fucking pants unbuckled, no shirt, no shoes, no socks, and introduces himself. But what I can't say is the few years that I got to know this man, bro, quite the example. I never once saw him upset or angry or pissed. Nothing.
I wish I could do that.
I wish I could too, man. You know, and
I'm not too emotional. I got too much woman in me.
I think we all do, bro.
Half
Yeah.
man, half woman.
Yeah,
dude. My
look at
mom and dad,
hermaphrodites,
it
bro.
ruined me,
Yeah.
bro.
But fucking he was a great man, bro.
Yeah.
He was great. You know, he was always there for his kids, no matter what. He was always there. He worked all day, every day, came home, was there for his kids. You know? And there was a time, bro, where we needed help. You know, and my girl would reach out to her parents. Her fucking mom and dad gave us a car. You know, like, okay, here.
Can you imagine giving a car?
I've done it.
I wish I could.
I've done that and a motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah, but so they gave us a car.
Yeah.
So we drove that car around,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then that car took a shit.
How old were you? You think? Do you remember this?
Bro, it's like 2003.
You guys are not
2004, so I
married
was
at
like
this point?
25. No, not yet.
And he probably knows by now that you are cholo-ish.
I'm sure they figured it out because we went to their house one day and I just said, fuck
And
the
he's-
long sleeve and I'm going in a
And
fucking
he's
tank top.
still just
Yeah, they were still
being-
cool with it, man.
yeah.
Like, they got to know me,
Yeah.
not who I was or
Your looks.
or judge me, you know, by my looks, you know. And so their car took a shit. It was a little white 2-door Chrysler Sebring. The fucking transmission went out, and it wasn't long after we got it from them. So we called her, and she's like, "Well, I don't know what we're gonna do." And I was like, "Well, I know what we're gonna fucking do," you know, like call the dealership. And there's only one of two ways. They say you get, what is it, more bees with honey, or some shit like.
I don't know.
You get more flies with shit. You get more bees with honey than you do with shit, right? So you can either have a good attitude or be a fucking asshole and not get nowhere, you know. And so I called the dealership.
I think that's with anything.
I think that's, I don't know, but so I called the dealership and I was like, hey, my name's Angel, so and so. My mother-in-law bought a car from you guys, and it's having transmission problems, and I want to know how we can fix it. You know, and I was just being like, I want to say just bookish on them, like book smart dude, like talking properly, and they were like, we're not doing nothing for you. You know, like you bought it. That's the end of it. And then, so I was just like scrambling in my brain, like, oh, fuck, the lemon law. They can't sell you a fucking lemon no more ever since they passed that law, you know, and I don't know exactly what it is now. But so I brought it up to them. I was like, well, you guys sold us a lemon, a car that you knew wasn't going to work. So I'll just go ahead and
Dude, I'm
contact,
so sorry.
you're good, and contact my lawyer and have my lawyer get a hold of you guys because that's illegal. What time can you be down here to get another car?
No way.
Yeah, bro. So we went down there and with my mother-in-law, and if she's good, bro, I think she got some money back. I want to say, but we picked out another car, and then we drove that car for a long time. And but yeah, my father-in-law, man, was a great man, and my mother-in-law just as good. Like, if I called her right now,
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I just seen her right before I came here. If I called her right now and was like, hey, I need a favor or I need help. Can you come do this for me? There's never any hesitation with my mother-in-law, man.
She's probably on top of your wife too. Like, you be nice.
No,
No,
bro. My wife's pretty cool with me. I mean, relationships are relationships.
I've never met her.
You met her one time. I
Yeah.
brought my Dyna that I had at the time over here,
yeah,
and you were fixing my exhaust. Remember my exhaust came off on the
Okay.
freeway?
I remember.
Not a hack job, but yeah.
Not me.
Anyway, so but anything I need, man, anything, she'll do it.
Your life is your wife is changing your life
Mhm.
at this point. You're changing yourself, to fit into your wife's life. It's what it sounds like.
I think what it is not necessarily to fit in, but now I'm starting to see like
Let her accept.
this is what parents are doing. This is what parents should be doing.
Okay.
This is how parents should be. Like, be there for your kids.
I
You know?
want to keep the Satanism prevalent because I want to know when you started.
Okay. Yeah, we can get back
That's
to that.
that's just why I'm just trying to rope it all
Yeah,
together.
yeah, for
Is all
sure.
I'm trying
So
to do.
in 2000,
Were you so were
2003, I was in
you
Chino
doing
prison.
were you doing it at this point, or were
It
you
was just
started it
I was
before?
learning,
Okay.
and I believe it was had to be 2003 when I was in Chino prison, and
Is that what you call it? Satanism? Am I saying it right?
yeah, that's what it's called. But for me, like now, it's just I'm trying to remember everything that I practice, but so one thing, and this is the only thing that they say there's a lot of truths in Satanism, but for me, it's just all false. They say Satan is the light, because his name's Lucifer, and Luz means light in Spanish or whatever, and he was an angel, and he did get casted down for for whatever reasons they got going on, but so I studied it for a while, and then there wasn't really like hung out with the homies at their house, and we would talk about it, and there was no killing of goats or babies or drinking blood or any of that shit, and then just over the years, like it was like something that was in me, and people would ask like, "Oh, what are you?" And that's what I would tell them. But my little brother came over several years ago to my house, and we're sitting. I have this little concrete, like the concrete tables with the little benches on it. It's all round.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey, bro, you need God." The fuck, where'd this come from?
Where were you at in your life when this happened?
I'm doing pretty good. This was just a few years ago, so I mean,
Okay,
yeah, I was doing good.
you weren't in the biking stuff.
No, we're both out of the bike scene now, and
Okay. So this was after all your stuff.
yeah,
Jim just coming up to you like,
yeah, my
hey,
brother gave himself to God. I don't remember exactly when, but he did, and he goes to church with his wife and his sons. And when he told me that, I was just like, "The fuck, dude! Like, fucking need God." I told him that's your thing, not mine. And that's what I told him, and he says he doesn't remember telling me that, but I see it as God's like, "Hey, say this to your brother. Your brother needs me." And
it, not at the time.
not at the time.
Did it upset you when he
No, I
said
wasn't upset. Like, I just laughed it off. Like, whatever, dude. Fuck.
it? Nerd.
Little brother thinks he's gonna tell older brother what he needs.
Oh,
But sometimes we need to hear it from somebody. Could be
yeah.
younger, older, same age. It doesn't matter. Wisdom is wisdom.
Humbling experience.
Exactly. So if my little sister decides that she's gonna get married to this guy, Brett, and they live in Washington. My sister Jackie, and she asked me to walk her down the aisle. And of course, being her older brother, I'm gonna do it. So anyway, so we're driving to Washington, and I kept having this feeling like somebody's poking at me or calling me or trying to get my attention, and I felt like it was God. And I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like
What did it feel like?
it felt like as if a parent was like reaching their arms out to hold me and tell me everything's gonna be okay.
Did you feel like something wasn't, or that was like an
I just feel like
offensive?
maybe I did need God. Or I did need God. I shouldn't say maybe I did need God. And I just didn't want to accept it because I had always had that feeling like there's a higher calling for me, and I need to embrace that. And even as a teenager, when I would go to church, the priest would tell me, like, you have a high calling. Like, there's something you need to be doing with your life other than the shit that you're doing now. And I would just like brush it off then, no. And so I looked up, man, and I didn't say it out loud, but I said it internally. I was like, if this is what you want me to fucking do, Holmes, give me a sign. Show me, and he's been showing me. I just wasn't ever paying attention. So we're cruising, whatever, and we get just out of sight of Weed, California, and I lost the radio reception. And it's a windy mountain and shit right there. And after a while, the radio came back on, and I heard, "You need to give yourself to Jesus." And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, are you kidding me right now?" Like,
Let's slow down. Let's slow down. Let's break this down. your your brother. How long ago between whenever he said that and you were invited to do your sister's wedding?
Probably within a year and a half.
Okay, and you hadn't thought about it, nothing since.
Nope.
You're driving through, you feel this tugging on your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, start getting a cussing argument with God, like, bring it, like, show me.
Yeah.
And then he does. He
And
takes away the radio.
and music is life for me, right? I
Okay.
love music.
All right. Well, I think that I understand now. Keep going. Please.
So he says you need to give yourself to Jesus. And I'm tripping out. Like, what the fuck is going on? But what was really tripping me out was the guy saying that was Greg Laurie. And I don't know if anybody knows, but he's a pastor out of, I believe, originally out of Costa Mesa, California.
I was going to say Pasadena.
Yeah, but I met him when I was 14 at the Harvest Church in Riverside. And he always had like a warm, welcoming tone in his voice. And his attitude was just like,
he doesn't have any bullshit. He's not
don't.
about the bullshit.
He's all about God.
Yeah.
His whole family too,
And I encourage look him up. Greg Laurie, he will change your life.
Yeah, he did a movie. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, you brought it up. We
Yeah.
should look it up and plug it because
Jesus Revolution.
yeah, so you watched it. I haven't seen it.
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
All right, so we'll go ahead and plug Greg Laurie's Jesus Revolution. Go check it out.
True story.
I know it. It's about his life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes from a pretty interesting background.
Yeah. So you got to watch the movie. I can't go into like all the details because I can't remember too much about it.
I don't
Yeah, but watch it. It will most definitely change your thoughts and your view on a lot of things, and it may bring you to Christ.
I think you might bring a lot of people to Christ.
Hey, if you ever want to come talk to me, and I'm not perfect. I don't know everything that needs to be said. So, but if you want to give yourself to God, I'd be more than willing to help anybody with that.
Plug your things.
Yeah. So you can follow me at Bakersfield_tattoo, on Instagram, and Creative Style Art Company on TikTok, and yeah, I'm here for everybody, man. If anybody wants to reach out and talk, we don't have to come on here and talk. We can come to Eric's house and we can just talk.
We're mobile. I can come to you if you want to come on the show. So
yeah, let's do it. Let's hear everybody's story. And
I want to.
I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it because my kids are gonna see it. But Kiki, I know you love me. Come on now, wake up. I'm here. And they say if he knocks, you should open the door. But I wasn't quite opening the door yet. I felt, which is kind of selfish. I needed a sign. I needed my brother was my brother's saying that. My little brother telling me that was enough. Now, but then being selfish and didn't really give a shit. I wanted to hear it for myself, and Greg Laurie came on the radio telling me you need to give yourself to Jesus was crazy. And it wasn't necessarily like crazy, like it's fucking wild, It was
because you didn't know.
It felt more personal,
yeah.
Because I know Greg Laurie, meeting him. I believe I was 14, going to his church in Riverside, and then hearing him come on the radio, and then he went on talking about giving yourself to God and bettering your life.
You told me this. You told me this before, but I asked you what was it that What was it that stood out? What was it that you thought?
What stood out the most was Greg Laurie saying it.
I mean, like you said that the benefits of doing this. What were the benefits of doing it to you?
I feel a lot happier with life, and I feel less like. I know people always tell me like, "Oh, you look like you're pissed off." That's forever gonna be the way I look. Like it's just my fucking face,
trauma,
Like there's
dude.
nothing I can. I've been getting told this my entire life. Oh, you look pissed. Like even my wife told me, like, oh, your energy changes everything when you walk in the door because everybody thinks you're mad. That look on your face, and that's what look like. But I get it. But I am a lot happier. and I feel closer with my wife and my kids more than ever now. I've always felt close, but now there's a whole different kind of closeness. Being more humble.
Feel
You
like you have
know,
more of a purpose.
yeah, like a reason.
Do you think that the reason that you have this hard appearance is like a protection thing, almost like a wasp or like a bee, like a spider or something? Like it's just a
Yeah,
way.
I think for me, like even like naturally, like I make facial expressions. I think it's trying to protect myself from being hurt.
Mhm.
Like I don't want somebody to see me as a victim. Like because you see a lot of people on the news or even in YouTube videos or TikToks, people are picking on a certain somebody, but when I go somewhere with my family, I want people to know like, oh, we're not fucking with that guy. You know, and it's not that I'm trying to be tough. It's just that
We don't need a
I don't
shit
need
that
you to come
drama.
fuck with
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
'Cause I don't want to be that. I don't want to resort to the man I was over 20 years ago.
And the thing is without that experience, you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't
I wouldn't.
recognize that shit from a
I'd
mile
probably
away.
be wearing
Yeah.
fucking Crocs and fucking
Sweats in the middle of the day.
yeah, bro, or little fucking board shorts, like above my knee or some shit, and a little skimpy
Yeah.
shirt.
So I mean, the hardness does
It
create.
helps,
It does.
but
It's not who you want to grow up to be.
I'm not trying to be hard for nobody.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, like I said, with the whole like the alcohol and the drugs thing,
Okay.
I want to be ready.
Yeah.
When we go out, I take something with me. I'm a felon, and then if the police sees it, then they see it. I don't care. I think after X amount of years, every felon should get their gun rights back, unless it's a fucking gun involved charge. But so we're driving, and I'm listening to
I
Greg.
think we should have psych tests for those things. But
Yeah, fuck, they're probably gonna give me one, bro.
I mean, but you say that, but well, that's the people in charge, and so we should
Yeah,
be the people like us should be running for state senate and Congress
governors and all
and
that shit
sheriff
to make it happen.
because the truth is you have more experience than any of those guys. All they have is the experience from coming from good families
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that all people are bad, but that's not the truth.
Yeah, not all people, even bad people that were once bad ain't bad.
I agree.
But Greg Laurie,
All right, sorry.
you're
I
good. You're
did
good.
it
He
again.
talked for a couple hours, and I don't remember the whole conversation because I was just tripping the whole time. Like what's really going on? Daylight starts coming up. I
Do you
think
feel like he was talking to you?
I do. Every time that I've heard Greg Laurie talk, I feel like he's talking to me, and it's
Interesting.
crazy because I've had friends that I went to the Harvest Church with, and when we were teenagers, and they would always say, like, "Hey Holmes, I think that Vato's talking to me." Like, he's talking to everybody, but
Yeah.
but it's not Greg Laurie talking. It's fucking God, bro. Excuse me for using that language, but it's God talking. God's talking through Greg Laurie to get to his children.
Yeah.
Bring them home. So that's what Greg Laurie's been doing. I mean, I think it's over 50 years he's been doing that now. And so we're in Oregon already, or maybe just outside of Oregon, and
You said right out of
Weed, California,
Yeah.
is when the radio went off.
Okay.
And I don't remember exactly where we were.
You were, and I've asked you this several times. I asked you, what did you see? What was outside the windows? And you just say black.
It was dark, bro.
And so when I hear this, I like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm autistic or what, but when people talk, I picture things in my head. It's almost
Yeah.
like I see it. And so whenever you're sitting here saying this, I picture you like in a submarine in the bottom of the ocean, and then all of a sudden you're about to come to the light. And so, like, I don't know.
It kind of feels that way.
And so, I'm just trying to see what you see.
Yeah. So it's a 4-lane highway, right?
Okay, 4 lanes.
And the K rail is the big old cement blocks,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
In between these 2 lanes or these 4 lanes it's all K rails,
Mm-hmm.
and it was crazy driving through there, dude. Like you driving, and the roads would turn, but a few times I swear I saw the road was going straight. But if I'm driving and it's really, really dark, I'll follow the dots on the road.
So
And
were you just so depth in thought and like just almost what I say is prayer? Like you just were just not there. You were just kind of like focused on what was going on.
yeah, I was really tripping on what was what was on the radio. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. And but the road looked like it went straight. and I'll follow the dots. If I'm not sure, I'm following the dots, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm watching the road, and the road turned, and I was like, damn. Can you imagine if I was leading myself, but I wasn't? It was God. He was leading me, you know, and showing me where to go, you know, and I think we were in Oregon, or we might have been in Washington already. We get to McDonald's, regular radio station comes on, I'm jamming, you know. Forget about everything that happened. I forget all about it. Like, not that I forgot, I'm just like, behind me now, whatever.
You didn't tell me this the first time.
Yeah, so we get in there, we eat, and then we get into Washington, and I'm more concerned about now I got to do my sister's wedding. So I call her, hey sis, I'm here. Where do I go, Holmes? You know, she gives me the address. We go to this nice ass place in Lake Stevens where they're getting married. They're doing like the rehearsal, and everything went good, man. You know, I was honored to walk my sister down the aisle. You know, like that was cool. You know, I got to meet her new husband and my little nephew I hadn't met yet, and got to see my other nephew.
That was your first time meeting him.
My the baby nephew, and so everything went good, you know, and they all, like, we danced and partied, I guess you want to say. But the next day, when we go out of town, bro, I'm always concerned about when we got to leave. You know, try to get everything in before we got to leave. So we leave, and I tell my wife, I'm not stopping for shit this time. We're getting home. All right.
She was with you this whole time this happened?
My wife and my daughter both went with me to Washington for the wedding.
No, I know. So the whole time
They were sleeping. Her and my daughter were sleeping.
so they weren't aware.
No, so it's
Okay.
just me,
Okay.
right?
Interesting.
And so we're
That's
driving. Yeah,
nuts.
we're driving back, and I'm like, okay, let's see what happens with the radio. Let's see how
You
real.
tested it?
I said, let's see how real this is. Give me
It wasn't enough signs yet.
I said, give me another sign,
Oh my god.
right? So I'm driving, bro. We get home, 19
So
hours and
good.
30 minutes, right? And we drive right here off of Merle Haggard to get to my house. I live
Uh-huh.
not too far from here.
Oh really? I
And
didn't know.
we get home, and it's early in the morning. My wife says, babe, find a movie and let's pass out.
That's the movie you watched.
No,
What are you?
no. So I find a movie called Walking with Herb. Pull it up. Pull it up.
Walking with Herb.
And the cover is what got my attention. Yeah, HRB. Yeah, that's it. That's the movie. Walking right there.
What's special
But
about
that
this
wasn't.
movie?
So, oh, that's the cover right there.
That's the cover.
George Lopez, right? And I believe he's riding an Indian. Yeah, he's riding an Indian motorcycle. That's what I saw.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, we're gonna watch this shit. It's gonna be funny, you know. George Lopez, he's funny. Fucking dude riding a motorcycle. I ride, you know, like this is great.
I got you.
Changed my fucking life, bro. It was about faith. It had nothing to do with motorcycles or comedy.
Okay, so let me slow you down again. The story I heard before, and we were super excited when we were talking. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what-
we hadn't even got to this last part.
I know, and that's what I'm getting at. Is just from my understanding, is you had found God on the way to the the f- the wedding. From what I'm understanding now, is you're not even there yet.
I'm not even there yet. I'm getting there.
Okay.
We're there.
All right, let's
Now
keep
we're
going,
there.
then.
So
you watching this? You saw this movie.
saw this movie, and I'm like, this is gonna be great. Fucking dude rides. All right. He's funny. I think I'm pretty fucking funny, you know? So let's watch it. You know, I tell my wife, she's in the shower, like, hey, we're gonna watch this fucking movie, you know. Hey, George Lopez, he's riding a motorcycle. It's gonna be fucking good. It's gonna be funny. And she fell asleep before I did,
Yeah.
which is usually the case. And I'm tripping out, bro. The whole fucking time. Like, I asked for a sign. He gave me one on the way to Washington. And I got greedy and selfish and asked for another sign. And he gave me another one. And I couldn't fucking believe it, bro. I called Pastor Javier. And I was like, hey, bro,
This night, the same
No,
night.
no, no, no. A couple of days later.
Yeah,
You know,
it was just on your heart.
yeah.
Clearly, something was on your heart. And
So
you
I
had
talked to
figure
him.
it
You
out.
know, I told him, man, you know, like, because he would come into the tattoo shop, and I'd be cussing and just bullshitting with everybody, and then the homie at the shop was like, "Hey, bro, dude's a pastor," and I would apologize. You know, like, you gotta give the man respect. You know, he's doing his deed. You know, so I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry." And like, nah, it's okay, I understand. And he would come back there and pray with me. And this was way before me going to Washington, and before my brother even saying that I needed Jesus. You know, and but now it was different. And I told him I'm ready. You know, and he was like, "Yeah, all right. Well, we're gonna have a baptism." It was like a month later, and or maybe a little bit longer. I'm not sure exactly on the timeline, but he said we're gonna do a baptism in the river. You should come.
Whoa.
And I was like, "All right."
Wait, so you still hadn't even done it yet?
I hadn't even gotten
Oh
baptized
my
or
god!
nothing,
You
bro.
haven't
Or
even
even
talked
like
to God. Like you're still.
I gave myself to God
You
after
did?
watching the movie. Like you know,
Okay.
I did.
With him?
I
With
prayed.
him?
No, no, no. I prayed about it,
And you did it
and I did it like by myself. You
with
know what I
Greg
mean?
Laurie's guidance, or like
No, I just found something online that I could,
that's awesome.
you know, like
So you searched it out. You actually
and read and
that's
then
awesome.
give myself to God. You know, but
Good
I
job,
felt like
dude.
there was more that I needed to do. You know, when they say you get baptized, you know, you wash away your sins. You know, and you're a new man now.
Yeah.
So I told him, all right, let's do it. And so he gave me a day. It was a Saturday. I was excited. I told my wife, I told everybody about it. So my wife and my daughter, the morning of, they're like, all right, you ready to go? Nah, I'm not going. But I feel like the devil's like, oh, you don't need that. Stay here. Life is better over here. Stay here, you know? And I was like, nah, I'm not going to go. And she's like, why? You've been talking about this. And I was like, I don't want to go. She's like, well, let's go. Like, fuck it. Yeah, let's just go. You know, let's go. And we start going. And one of a good friend of mine, we're actually cousins. We found out later on down the line. Joe, right? We're in the same car club together. And he he showed up to come visit to watch when I got baptized, which was awesome, you know. And we're driving up to where Pastor Javier was with Kingdom Bound Ministries, and I kept driving. I don't even know if I shared this with him. He's gonna see this, but which is fine. I kept driving. You know, we were driving through Hart Park.
You ignored him.
I didn't ignore him. I was scared.
Just kind of just what if it happens?
I was scared,
we'll
bro.
just
I didn't
drive
know
by
what
it.
to expect, you know,
Okay.
and I hadn't fully placed my heart where it needed to be, you know. So we kept driving, and we went to there's a gas
You feel
station.
shame.
No, no, I just was like, I don't know, you know, I was scared. I didn't know what I was gonna expect, you know. Am I doing the right thing? You know, what am I fucking doing? You know, I was like being pulled in like so many different directions emotionally, and so we went to the gas station right there by Lake Mean. There's like a Chevron or something right there.
Yeah.
And we got some shit, and I get back in the truck, and Mark's like, "What are we doing?" "Oh, we're going back." Like, "Oh, you're gonna go, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're going." Start driving back, but inside I'm like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna keep driving. I'm just gonna keep driving." But I just pulled in, got out, and we talked to him, and then everybody went down to the river, and
It seems to me like everybody's going to the river, but it seems to me like you didn't want this. Like you almost like
I
were
wanted
running it,
but at the
running
same time, I
away.
was trying to run away.
Yeah.
I'm just scared of new things, bro. You know, like I don't like change too much, you know, and this was gonna be a really big change.
I'm curious. Is it because that like is it because you were afraid of your image changing?
That has a lot to do with it. I was afraid that, you know, people were gonna look at me and be like, "Oh, this dude's fucking soft now."
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get to that.
It makes
Write
you
that down,
okay.
right? Because I want to touch on that here in a second.
Nobody's gonna think it's
Oh, I know that. I know, but I mean, it
I'm
just
gonna write that down
yeah,
though.
just internally, I was feeling that way. You know, like
All right, keep going. You were
so we walked down to the river, and there's a lot of people, bro. There's not hundreds, but there's a lot of people, and
mhm.
a lot of people are devoting themselves to Christ. you
That's
know,
bad.
and I'm watching, and I wasn't the first one. I wasn't the last one.
Were you nervous?
Super nervous,
Really?
and scared. You know,
Because you knew you had to have to change?
I knew a change was coming, and I knew it was going to happen pretty quickly. And
Because you were prepared. You were ready.
yeah,
You were ready for it.
I'm trying to get myself like ready. You know, like I knew it was coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I walked down there, and I'm nervous, and you know, like I got a little bit shaky in my knees, and my daughter, dude, she's like, "You're all right, Dad." You know, she said everything's gonna be good. So when my turn came, I went down there, and you gotta say a prayer with the pastor to accept Christ into your life, and I did, and you know, they fucking drown you in the water, you know, and they pick you up, and um, I could feel all that weight lifted off my shoulder, and
What weight? The weight that you were dragging?
yeah, I you know, I
The
didn't
weight, the image
just
weight?
exactly like
It doesn't matter.
like I know I'm a tough guy, bro,
Like, it
but
didn't
that shit
matter
doesn't fucking
anymore.
matter.
It doesn't matter
It don't
anymore.
matter, you know, and I could feel like
That's crazy.
everything was lighter, you know, and I hugged them and I thanked them, you know, and I'm crying, and I go and I hug my daughter and I'm crying, and my wife, I'm crying, and the brother Joe, you know, like, hey, oh, let's feed him, you know, proud of you, and that means a lot, bro. You know, my daughter too, when she was like, I'm proud of you, Dad. It means a lot, dude, because I want my kids to be proud of their dad, you know,
You
and
lead by example.
you do, even when we don't realize it, we do, you
Yeah.
know, and from that day,
Congratulations, man.
thank you, bro. I appreciate that. From
Welcome to the family.
thank you, and from that day on, I've always, and I've been saying this, I want to become a pastor
Mhm.
or some kind of mentor.
You kind of are. Everybody's gonna see this, and like I think that's a big deal. Is like you've just admitted more than most of us want to. You know what I mean? The fact that like our image does matter. A lot of people, but it doesn't in the long run.
It don't.
You know what I mean? Like
When you got God, bro, who gives a shit? Like now, like now, like honestly, like sometimes I'll catch myself, and I'm not perfect, and I haven't been on the even keel with anything in life,
Yeah.
you know, and even after giving myself to God, you know,
Yeah.
but I'm trying,
it's a,
you know, and it's a battle, you know, and
well, this is another thing too. People are gonna listen to this. That who's this white boy? I'm not gonna be able to touch people that you're gonna be able to reach. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we might cuss, we might have our rough edges, but I'm not gonna hide who I am and like not share what I know. You know what I mean? Like that's who God what that's what we went through. That's who we are.
Yeah.
Like I don't know any other words. The F word is an emphasized word for
yeah,
me.
that's like
It's
French fry at McDonald's.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's a bad word. I get
It's
it.
a natural phenomenon.
But around the people who know that word, it's a comfort word. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? My mom it is what it is. She used
Yeah.
to use that word as like I know that as like, hey, before she tells me you dumb F word, you F and F word.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, that's funny to me. I'm
It's
the
okay to
best
say it.
person at smear the queer. I'm the best
Yeah.
at it, dude.
Yeah. And you're not even allowed to say that no more.
But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like it's not it's some people have to dig into to holes to pull people out.
Yeah.
And it's always not going to be the perfect person that you think it is. Like God is for everybody. God is not like a untouchable thing. Like
He
here
loves
for
everybody, bro. Every color, man, woman, child, babies, loves everybody, you know. And
I wish I could stop cussing. I don't know. What
you know what? My daughter recently, she was like, "Dad, why do you talk like that?" And I was like, "Fuck you, me? What? Fuck? How the fuck am I talking?" And she's like, "Every word out of your mouth is the F word." And I
It's
was like,
because
"What?"
it's
And I
what
tell
we
my wife, I was
grew
like,
up.
"What the fuck?" And it dawned on me. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. Like, damn. I'm sorry, daughter. I'll
Yeah,
work on that, you know.
yeah.
And I'm really trying. I'm not trying hard enough, but I'm trying. You know, I want her to know that I'm really trying to. She don't like to hear it, you know, and I get it.
I
So
don't like watching my videos where I say it.
you know what? I don't like hearing myself. I'm gonna watch this whenever you're
Yeah.
done, and I'm gonna be like,
It'll change.
I cuss a lot, you know. And we went to this tattoo shop in Victorville. I'm not even gonna give them the
Don't put 'em
time of the
down.
day with their name.
Don't put them down.
I'm not, but we were in there, and their apprentice, right? And he cussed a lot, but he was talking shit about me, you know, and because I was in there sharing my Instagram and just sharing my story, and he was back there like, who gives a fuck about his story, you know? And my wife and my daughter were back there. My daughter was getting a piercing, and I was like, this motherfucker, you know? And I want to go back there and fucking mop the floor with his face, you know? But I was like, it's not even important. This dude don't even know me. Like, if he knew me, he wouldn't even be saying shit about me like that. You know?
It's weird. They're like trigger words. So like
Yeah.
even if you don't even know, if maybe he was just like, I fucking love that dude Angel, and you just heard Angel and fucking, you all immediately.
I heard, who the fuck is this guy, motherfucker?
I'm
Pretty much is
just-
what I heard. He might have been saying. He might have been like, fuck this fucking guy. Who the fuck is this guy? He's rad, but I didn't hear it, you know? But
Yeah.
I was telling my wife about it, and she's like, fuck him, you know? And I was like, yeah, you're right, fuck him. Like, I could have went back there and fucking just beat the fucking brakes off of him and then probably got my ass kicked by the owner. Who knows? But I didn't like the way I heard when he was cussing. So I told my wife, do I sound like that? Even the last tattoo shop I was working, I was like, hey, bro, I cuss a lot, huh? And he was like, yeah, like
Dude.
every other word out of your mouth. And I was like, that shit sounds so fucking disgusting.
I do the same thing, like, cause like,
Hi, Mom. Eric's mom. Hi.
Hi, Mom. A lot of times, I mean, I hear myself cuss, and I know that
Yeah.
it makes people uncomfortable, and I wish I didn't do it. But like, even like hanging out with my girlfriend or something, I'll be like, "Damn, bitch!" Like,
Yeah.
what,
And you don't mean it wrong.
no,
You know, you're having a good time.
but
And
she hears it, and it hurts her feelings
because to her it means something else.
And so it's like I'm sitting here trying to battle with that, like, because like the comedy is a big thing for me, but like I don't want to like make her feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. It's just how I grew up. We got to have more discipline if we're gonna be able to.
So
like,
there's
grip
certain
and stuff.
people that I really try not to curse around. You know,
Mhm.
like my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
She don't like it. I try my hardest. Sometimes I'm trying isn't enough, you know. But want to hear a crazy story?
Yes, of course.
So where I live at, across the street, the church, the Catholic church, owns a house, right?
Like
And
a side house for the past or the priest or something.
no, whole house. The church owns it,
Okay.
right across the street from me.
Okay.
Like, I look out my front door, I can look right through his front door. And there's been 3 priests there. And the first priest that was there when we first moved in moves out. And a new priest comes in. His name's Father James. I think he's in Fresno now. Awesome dude. And I'm going somewhere one day, and he's backing out of his car, and there's a man and a woman in the car. He was like, hey, what's up, neighbor? I'm Father James. You know, I'm new here, and what's your name? I was like, well, my name's Angel. And he's like, oh my God, that's amazing, you know? And I'm just like, this guy has no idea I'm about to blow his mind, right? And he's like, that's my mom and my dad. And I was like, hey, it's nice to meet you guys. I'm Angel. I live right across the street, you know? And he's like, hey, man, do you go to church? I told him I don't go to a specific church. And this was right before I got baptized. I told him, but I'm about to get baptized in a couple of weeks. I told him, and I shared my story with him. And he was like, can you come to my church and share your story? And I told him, I will. I told him, just give me some time, you know, like.
You already did this?
I didn't. I never went. Right. But over the time, he's no longer here in Bakersfield. He's in Fresno now, right? So he moved out. I didn't know, but okay, hold. Let me back up. I had to borrow a trailer one time, so I parked in front of his house with my truck and his little car trailer and this little car trailer.
God's been calling you for so long, and
Right.
you've been running for so
Mm-hmm.
long.
So I'm at work, right? I jump on my bike. I go to the tattoo shop.
Uh-huh.
I come home. My wife's like, "Hey, priest was pretty mad." I'm like, "What's he got to be mad about?" You know, because God is good all the time, right? And she was like, "He was upset that you moved his trash can and you didn't put it back." I was like, "What? What the fuck? This guy's tripping. You know, what's the problem? You know?" And I look outside, and yeah, there's a trash can behind the trailer. I mean, I parked my truck in a long ass car trailer in front of his house, you know, and I was like, "Yeah, I see the trash can, but when I move it, I put it back out of respect, you know, like he put it somewhere. If I move it, I'm gonna put it back where I found it." And my grandpa was always on my ass about that, but I didn't know. After that, I didn't know he was like upset with me the whole time. And then one day, like I stopped saying hi to him. He would like be outside and he would just give me a dirty look, you know. And for a priest, that was pretty uncommon, you know. And one day, I'm getting ready to go to work and jumping in my truck, and you know, I like to let the oil get going, and then I start it, you know, and it's warming up, and he backs out of his drive. His driveway's like on a little slope, you know, and he's back now. The garage door's up, and it starts closing. And he's like, "Hey, Angel. Hey, what's up, man?" No, hey, Father James or nothing, you know, just hey, what's up, man? His car, dude, was sitting there in the driveway and starts rolling. Takes out his fucking garage door. Right? It's a 2-car garage, you know, it's got the one that comes up, you know, takes it out. And I was like, "Hey, man, your car." Destroys the garage door, bro. And I'm like, "Damn, like I got a tattoo right now, you know?" So I texted my client, "Yeah, I'm gonna be a little late. You know, I'm gonna help the priest. He just crashed his car into the garage, you know?"
Yeah.
So I go over there and he's freaking out. Doesn't know what to do. I told him, "Dude, I got some tools. Let me go grab my impact and some sockets, and we'll get your car unstuck because the car drove through the garage door and the garage door was just stuck on his trunk, you know,
Yeah.
and off the tracks." And so I took apart his entire garage door, and I've never done that before. I just nuts and bolts, bro. If I see him, I just start it's coming apart, you know. And so I'm taking it apart, and he's like staring at me. He's like, "Well, why did you do this?" I told him, "Because I can. You know, I'm here and I'm gonna help everybody that I can." And he was like, tripping. You know, you could tell the whole time that I'm talking to him while I'm taking apart his garage door, his mind's just going stir crazy, like, you know. And I'm not thinking nothing. I'm like, "Damn, this dude's tripping," you know, like shit happens, you know. Get his garage door taken off. I told him, "Carry that piece. We'll put everything on the side," you know. And um, he was like, "I really want you to know that I appreciate this." I told him, "It's nothing."
Yeah.
I told him, God put me right there at that time to help you."
You told him that?
I told him that.
And this was before you were baptized.
This is before I was baptized, and after he
so
was.
you had already like jumped in on the board. You
I
were
did.
already in.
I did.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay.
And so God put me here for a reason, bro. I told him he puts everybody in a certain space for a reason. I told it didn't just happen to be that I'm running late for my fucking tattoo appointment for no reason, you know. I told him when I leave my house and I'm running late, there's a reason behind it, you know. And so when God put me here to help you, so I'm helping you. We're done, you know. I gotta go to work. I'll catch you later, dude. I take off. Dude comes to my house the next day, bro. I should have brought it, and I meant to. The gift brought me a $50 gift card, which I told him I don't need that. That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
He's like, "Take it." Like that's the least that I could do. I'm like, "Well, whatever, you know." And
Probably is.
I put it in my toolbox, and I ended up losing it. Right. So somebody found it, and God bless them for finding it, you know. And but he wrote me a letter, you know, and I wish I would have brought it so I could read it verbatim. But he apologized
for the trash can thing.
No, for judging me.
Interesting.
He said he had
really.
He said he had.
You have this letter.
I have it at home, bro. It's in my toolbox.
If you send it to me when you get home, I'll put it on the show.
Yeah, bro. And He apologized for judging me. Yeah, I didn't know he had been judging me.
That's badass.
You know, and
Can you
I was blown away because he's already a man of the cloth, right?
yeah.
So he should already be humble.
Mhm.
But God humbled this man even more.
Mhm.
You know, and I saved the letter. My wife's like, "What are you gonna do? You throw it away?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna keep it."
Yeah, don't ever
Like for me, it's like it's a reminder that God is good all the time. And if you humble yourself, and sometimes you just sit back, and look at the bigger picture,
I mean, I don't, from an outside perspective and somebody who kind of like seeks God, um, it sounds kind of like he has repeatedly shown you again and again that you're supposed to be doing. I'm
God's
not.
work.
I don't know what that is.
I feel
I
like,
feel. I mean, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know that
yeah.
that's
Well,
true,
if this is what
but
you're here because right now this is what you're supposed to be doing, but in the future could be God could have something else for us to do, And I
Mm.
think this what you got going on is perfect, right? But back to God wants us to know that He loves us, and He's gonna show everybody
in their
in His own way. It's gonna be different for you. My story will never be like yours.
Let me
Your
encourage you
story,
this way, though. I do think that the cussing thing is important because the amount of people that we can reach is the same amount of people that won't listen
because of the language.
because of the
And I
language.
apologize for my language. I'm working on it.
Yeah, my
You
grandma
know,
probably won't listen because she'll
sorry,
hear
Grandma.
it, but my mom will
We can
because
beep. Can't you beep it?
eh, yeah, I can, but that's not the point.
Yeah,
And I'm not complaining because I've been cussing more than you have.
yeah. But I
Um,
do want people. So if you're watching and the language is offensive, I apologize. Sometimes as human beings, we have to look beyond certain things to be able to grasp the greater message. And I know my language is foul, and I am working on it. So if you're listening and you're watching, I apologize, but keep listening.
some
You know,
people, I think, like we were talking earlier, like whenever you were talking, I pictured you down deep in the water, and you were just, it was just dark, and then you had to like suffocate and come to the surface, and then that's when you saw light. And so, but I think also some people might never have to see that darkness because that's not their calling. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think that we're all in different positions for different reasons.
yeah. We all have our own path that we have to take, and some people have an easy path. But what's easy for you might be hard for me.
It's
You
probably
know,
hard for them as well.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They have
yeah.
to deal
They should
with.
reach out. Reach out. Come on, relax, bro, and share your story too. And maybe people need that. Maybe people need to be able to open up and talk to somebody about what's going on, and that might help them in their journey.
I'm looking for more female um, guests. I know that it's like I was talking to you earlier. Like
Yeah,
I might not be taking this as serious as I should be because I don't really care about my own life. So like
you care
I
because
do,
we talked about that when I left last time,
but like I've had
and
to.
I care.
I know
I
I'm
care,
not
bro.
being. I'm not.
No,
I just didn't think that. I didn't take myself as serious as I think that I should be. Maybe. Does that make sense?
no, it makes sense. I think
And
you're taking yourself pretty seriously, but maybe you feel like it's not serious. You're not taking it serious enough. I think you're doing an amazing job, bro, and I really appreciate you having me come on here. Keep doing what you're doing. God's using you to help people open up. And maybe God brought us together for sure. Even though I've known you for a while, God was like, "Hey, go redo that and focus on what God wants, nothing else." I mean, everything else is coming into play with God, anyways. But people are going to be watching this, and like you said, maybe they'll turn to Christ. And if they're not, if they've already turned to Christ, maybe this will just help them in their journey and with their
Yeah,
faith. You know.
even that, like, even if it's not coming to Christ, even if it's just not self-destructing,
Yeah.
maybe it's just not punching the wall, not
Kicking somebody's rear
yeah,
end
yeah.
because they looked at you like they thought you looked funny. You know.
Just know that your life, I mean, it's not over till it's over, and
Yeah.
so like your decisions are gonna definitely,
Yeah. You know, even more now, like I became a grandfather, bro, which
yeah.
is pretty fucking
Oh
rad.
yeah, we
You
talked
know,
about
we
this.
did.
I'm not gonna roast you this
Yeah,
time.
thank you. Her name is Harley Hannah, Harlee, and she's a gift from God, bro. I feel like even my son, he's like, I'm changing.
Bible says children are a gift from God.
Mm-hmm. My son, bro.
You feel him changing, really?
Yeah, I
Already?
can see it
You
in
can
him.
see him?
Like it's like night and day, bro.
So
Overnight, like one day he's like, you know, we like to talk shit and whatever, and you know, we were there, you know, right after the baby was born, and I tripped out, dude. Like, you know, I didn't cry like ball, but crying, you know, like fuck, like this is wild, you know. Like I remember my son when he was born, and I'm holding him on my chest. We got a picture of him laying on my chest, you know, and then I'm looking at a picture of my son with his daughter on his chest, and I was like, damn, everybody's life's gonna change, you know, and I'm trying to be there every day. You know, I want my kids to know that they can count on me, you know, and especially my granddaughter. Mess
better
with my
take care of
granddaughter,
yourself.
that too, you know. You mess with my granddaughter, you're gonna get buried. Plain and simple. Like, you know, I love my family, bro.
What
Things
would you say to somebody who's trying to earn a step or a partner's child's respect? Like, what would you tell them?
be patient.
Interesting.
Be patient. I was the most impatient
Patience in their actions, patience in
everything, you know, because I've been there. You know, my mom, her and her boyfriends or whatever, but the one boyfriend that she was with for 15 years, he was good to us, you know, and I know neither side of my family liked him because he was black, which now fucking irrelevant. Like this dude was good to us, you know, and he just passed away not too long ago. And um, you know, same thing with like my grandpa Rudy. You know, he's a step grandpa, but he's my grandpa.
yeah.
You know, like the fuck does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Anybody tells me any different, like, you know, like we can talk about that, you know,
Yeah.
and
I'd fight over for who my grandpa
yeah, I
is,
would
and
too. Like
a
you're
lot
gonna
of
tell me
people
like,
are.
oh, that's not your grandpa, you're gonna be wearing some fucking
Yeah, he's more
something
my
funny in
grandpa
your
than my
mouth, you know?
grandpa. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So they both raised kids that weren't theirs and did a phenomenal job, you know, and looking back, you know, I've been with my wife for over 20 years. So their kids, you know, were all small. And, you know, I try now. It's, you know, I'm trying to work through God to better these relationships with them, you know, and
you've you've spoken clearly that you've had a rough couple years. Um, 20 years with the same woman
yeah, it's probably like 22 or
through
something. Sorry, babe. Love you, but
through without God, with God, through some bad times and good
mm-hmm.
times. What would you say to somebody who's struggling to keep their marriage together? What would you say to somebody who
Forgiveness, you know, because
where
when
you find it?
when you say your vows, it says for better for worse till death do us part, and that means in the deepest, darkest depths of whatever the hell is going on, to the greatest times,
You guys held on to those?
we hold on to the good times. We don't hold on to the bad times. We used to, you know, as kids, we go back and forth about whatever we were arguing with fucking 6 months ago,
Yeah.
you know. But now, like, my old lady's pretty good, man. Like, I'll give it to her. Um, The other day I was pissed about something, and she just came up and was smiling and hugged me, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, what's going on?" She's like, "What? I can't hug you?"
Just killed your attitude. Huh?
Yeah, I just started laughing. I'm but I was thinking at the same time, like, she knows exactly what I
Yeah,
need,
yeah.
and 20 plus years together, man, like, she knows me better
It
than,
almost takes that to
yeah,
get there, huh?
exactly. She knows me better than anybody knows,
So it's like
anybody knows me.
every year's an investment into
Yeah,
that.
and I'm happy with where I'm at in my marriage and with my kids and, the step kids. And, my mother in law, bro, she's at the house every day, and they say, a lot of people talk bad about their mother in laws. I got nothing bad to say about her. The only thing that she puts plants all over the front of the house. Like, but that's my wife's thing. My wife likes plants, so
Plants are good.
yeah,
Dude.
I
That just
know.
shows that you're spoken for.
Yeah, I know.
That's all that is.
Yeah, I was like, dang, like, yeah, your mom brought
It just
another
says
plant.
leave me. It's like cats pissing on the grass.
Yeah,
Like, stay
yeah.
out of here.
I'm
This
like,
is
dang,
my
your mom
area.
brought another plant. She was like, yeah, and I was like, I'm just saying, like, that's cool.
Do you see all those plants out front of my house?
Yeah,
You think any of those are mine?
no, I know they're not. But my mother-in-law, she's gonna see this, and I wish I could had said this to my father-in-law too, but I really appreciate her, bro, and love everything that she's doing and has done for us as a family, and
This is the same.
yeah, it's my wife's mom.
The Antonio.
Yeah, Jose Antonio, that's her husband, and die hard about family.
That's a dope word to say.
When it comes to family, dude.
Diehards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like,
Write that down. That's your episode name.
she's a wonderful woman, and I always joke with her like, "Hey, come on, let's go to the bar and drink." And she don't really drink, bro. She's like, "All right, let's go." And my wife would be like, "Oh, you guys, okay, have fun," but they know we're not going, And the other day I was leaving the house and I was like, "Hey, no parties, no drinking, and no boyfriends." And she's like, "Oh, okay," but it's not even like that, It's just I have that relationship with her where I can joke with her and shit, And
What's the best thing that she cooks?
mole,
I don't even know how to say it, but go ahead and say it. What?
mole,
How do you spell it?
MOLE,
I don't know.
and then there's like a little on the E.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
So it's some kind of powder, bro. Like, so they make it with chicken, right? Chicken mole, and it's a sauce, bro. They make this.
You don't even know?
I don't know how to explain it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but
Okay.
you can buy it in a jar, right? It's like a real thick
What
sauce.
was her name? She's invited on the show.
Lupe.
And you can Lupe.
Lupe.
Uh,
You need a translator, bro. She don't speak. She won't use up her English too much.
Can you translate? You can't. Oh, you.
My
Don't know
wife
how to
could.
speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I speak. So I speak Spanish.
Bring her on.
But I don't speak a lot of Spanish. I understand more than I speak.
She's not from here.
She's from Michoacan, Mexico.
Dude.
Yeah, so, and I'm sure she's got quite a story to tell. I mean, if she would want to, she probably wouldn't because she's pretty private. But my wife's family's amazing, dude. Like, they're great. I love them. And when I first met my wife, my aunt Yolanda, who passed away years ago, told my wife, we never see Angel, but every so often, thank you for bringing him around. And she's right, bro. I would show up and then disappear on everybody. I just didn't want to be around.
It sounds to me like you. Like I said, I've only known you for so long. It sounds like you've completely changed your. Went from like a very hopeless, reckless, um, thoughts mindset
Mm-hmm.
into like kind of like this whole new like offensive like this is mine. I'm gonna take control of it. Life set. Like, is that true?
That's exactly how I feel. Like I was reckless, stupid, and but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed putting my life on the line for now, which I
No.
consider as fucking stupid. But meeting my wife and seeing how her family is, like even her like her aunts and her uncles and some of the cousins, um, the way they are about family, bro. I wish that's how it was
I've
with us.
brought this up before. Like the Mexican just community is just
It's amazing,
it's
you
they
know.
yeah they just love each other.
Yeah,
Man.
bro. It's all love for the most part,
Like you
unless you're
show up
some.
at a Christmas at my house, dude. There's like four aunts that I don't even know arguing about like the same boyfriend. It's crazy.
Oh wow. Yeah, you're gonna have to come to Christmas at our house one day, bro. I'm serious. Like, we don't get a lot of. So right now, it's just my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and her kids and the sister-in-law's boyfriend
Yeah.
and my wife. And they got aunts and uncles and stuff in like Chicago and in Mexico and down south. And when we do Christmas at the house, bro, it's like we just did Christmas and we were missing my son Daniel, right? Which sucks. Um, he had to work, right? So we had everybody at the house. My house isn't very big, and we were like, where the hell are we gonna put everybody? And for weeks, we were like, what? How are we gonna do this? Like, my garage is a single car garage, and I got a workbench
And
in
you're
there.
just trying to find places for people to sleep.
Well, no, we got a spare bedroom,
Okay.
right? Because my daughter doesn't live at home
I, what
anymore.
am I? You said where are we gonna put everybody? I mean,
To sit and
oh, so
be
you're
with
just trying
each
to
other.
find a area,
Yeah,
just
so
like
we
a
all sit
dining
together and
area.
eat,
Yeah. Okay.
So, and in my garage, I have a couch in there. My son gave me a couch, so it's like
Uh-huh.
a little, it's baby man cave, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a workbench that I built, a little 4x8 workbench, and was I don't know, I think it's like 36 inches by 8 feet. But anyways, that's my little gaming station, and I go out there and I game, or like if I do engraving, I'm engraving my son's slide out for his Glock, and I'm out there working or whatever, and I told my wife like I don't know where we're putting anything because I got 3 big ass toolboxes in there, and I got 2 cabinets full of like paint supplies and automotive shit and tools, and then another cabinet full of vinyl records and
Yeah.
DJ equipment everywhere. And I was like, I don't know, but I guess we'll figure it out. And it worked. I took a lot of my shit out of the garage and the dirt bike out of the garage and put everything on the side by our pool, and we made it work, bro. And Christmas was this. I think this was our best Christmas yet.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not about the gifts,
Yeah.
because every year, well, this year we did Secret Santa, but every year, like, well, the kids will ask me, Dad, what do you want?
Yeah.
And usually, I'll take a Monsters and a Snickers. I don't want nothing, bro.
Yeah.
My kids being there on those days means more than anything. I don't need gifts. I
Do
got
you feel something like sometimes like scared, like that you're gonna lose what you have because of what you did in your past? Like what I'm asking. That's a weird question. What I'm asking is like, do you feel like you're nervous to lose it because of where how you used?
I think I understand what you're saying. So sometimes I'll look and
Like, is that why it's so important to you now? Is because
I don't want to lose that for sure. And there is times that I'm like that I want to. Some recently something happened, and I wanted to go deal with it, but I have to sit and reflect, and that's just all part of being a grown man, and coming to an understanding with with what really matters in life, and I wanted to go handle that, and I was angry, and for sure I was going to be going to prison for life, and I had to think about that, like I go down there and I take care of this shit, like you say something to my kids and you think you're going to get away with it, you know, but I had to think about it. Well, what are the real consequences other than just me getting locked up? You know, my kids growing up without growing up even more, even though they're, my youngest is 19, and my oldest just turned 28, and my son Daniel will be 26 this year, and they're adults, and they still need their dad, and if I end up in prison because of some dude's mouth that holds no weight,
So, if I'm understanding you, it seems like you really don't give a shit what happens to you. You'll
I
go deal with it, but realizing that you're going to be absent from your children is what's stopping you.
exactly.
Okay.
Like I don't want to be away from my wife either,
Yeah.
like she's a big part of who I've become.
Well, I'm proud of you, man. That's a good
Thank you,
thing.
bro. And it's easy for me to just like, oh, you got something to say, Holmes? Like,
Yeah.
you don't got to say it to them.
Yeah,
You
it's
tell
easy.
me,
Yeah.
and I'll come down there, and I talk to the
It's
dude.
hard to walk away.
It is, but it takes a man to walk away. An even bigger man to not even trip on it. Because I was mad. I told my son I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna handle that. And I made one phone call, and I was like, hey, you ready? There's no question. I'm not gonna say who I called, but they were ready. Like, yeah, bro, just come down, pick me up, let's go. No questions, no nothing. And I love that. I love him. But even he said, is it really worth it? That you're gonna go down there and you're gonna do something, and then what's gonna happen? They're still gonna be there, and you're gonna be there, and your kids are gonna be like, "Oh, let's go visit Grandpa this weekend."
Yeah.
Fuck that. I didn't even let my kids come see me when I was in prison. I don't want them to see that because I had to see that growing up. I used to go visit my dad as a kid in prison. Even when I 19, I think. Yeah, I was 19. I went to see my dad in prison. That's where I told him you're gonna be a grandpa. You know, fucking Chino prison visiting yard. So, but yeah, you're right. I want to be there for my kids. It's not about me. It's about them, and my wife and everybody else,
Just trying to understand.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And that the thought of that is scary. I have nightmares daily, and my wife will vouch for that. I'm not gonna say what it's about, but I've really been trying to better that shit, and we do things, man, when we're in the streets, and my wife wake me up. She's like, "Hey, stop tripping. You're fucking tripping out." But um, memories are dangerous, bro.
Yeah. They never go away.
They don't.
I think we brought this up on the last one. Like the
We did.
veterans, they don't
Yeah.
sleep because
With PTSD and all that, bro.
they think about it every night. It never goes away.
Yeah.
And so shout out to the vets.
Yeah.
I appreciate you
crisis
guys.
hotline, or you can call here.
Well, I
talk to
mean, I
Eric
do
or-
have a hotline.
Yeah.
We do have a hotline for anybody that wants to reach out. It's 661-612-5580. 661-612-5580. And that number is strictly for the podcast. All right. Well, I'm going to be honest. I think we did way better this time.
I think we did great last time too.
I do.
Um,
We just got a little racist.
we did talk about racial discrimination and everything, but I think we needed that to catch up and to truly get to know each other a little bit more and a better understanding. And then but those files are gone.
They are. Well, I could
Sort
probably
of.
get them back, but
Yeah, but
well, we still got a good thumbnail.
yeah, we did.
Either way, Angel, I want to thank you for your time. You have a full invite anytime you want. Just call me back. What up? Let's go.
I think I want to come back and talk about tattooing.
All right,
let's do it. I think that's what I want to do.
Okay.
So tattooing, and then maybe we'll let you talk. We switch sides of the table.
I'm down for that.
I know.
We got this idea called homies and chonies,
Those-
where we all just get together and hang out in our underwear.
Yeah. I wear a Speedo, bro, so just kidding. JK.
So I always usually ask my guests, you're one of the more hardcore guys I've had on here. What would you say to a kid in your most vulnerable position? what would you tell him to keep going? And
That's a tough one, bro. So if I had to talk to myself as a kid, I would steer them away from the bullshit,
what's the bullshit?
drugs, gangs, violence.
What would you rather them
know.
do?
So I had a cousin that was a sheriff, and I strongly Johnny Ortega. He passed away from cancer, and he I remember him telling my dad one time, "Oh, you should put him in boxing." I was probably fucking 10. We're watching somebody fight on the old school TVs where they projected from the front, and he's like, "That's not what he wants to do. He don't want to be no fucking cop." Shoot for your dreams. Have if you don't have dreams and you're out there and you're in the streets, but you feel like you want to change your life, you can call him, and we'll talk about it. And I'm available any time of the day or night to help anybody. And
Bakersfield _ tattoo.
Yep, that's me. Or you can call me at 661-380-5118, and we get you in contact with Eric here, and we'll make it happen. There's so much more to life than being in the streets, doing drugs or anything like that, because you're going to get locked up one day, maybe not, maybe you will, but your homies aren't going to be there for you. I've learned that when I got locked up. The only time I see the homies was when I was in the county jail with them.
Yeah.
Nobody came to visit me. My little brother came, but other than that, nobody came to see me. I didn't see none of the homies, and I go upstate to prison and I see the homies in there, and then when I get out, everybody's all happy to see you. But as I get older, I'm like, well, where the fuck were you when I needed you the most? They weren't there. And that's the same story you're gonna hear with a lot of dudes that have been around the block once or twice, and reach out, talk to somebody, and sometimes it ain't always family that you have to talk to. It could be anybody, So I know there was an open door with the priest in Fullerton. You can go in and talk to him anytime you wanted to, but I was like, nah, I'm too tough for that. But you're never too tough to turn your life around, and find God. If you don't have God already, that's the way and that's the life.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. I
We're gonna
appreciate
leave
it.
out hard.
Yeah, that was good, bro.
It was great.
That was great.
So much